Hello, hello, and welcome to the Black Sky Legion, episode 120 for February the 18th, 2022. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're doing well. I am drinking a Southern Tier Brewing Company Blackwater Series Nitro Hot Cocoa Imperial Milk Stout. Pretty good. It's like, I don't know, 11% ABV, and yeah, that stuff is pretty delicious. And tomorrow I got a call. They got a case waiting for me of the new reserve from what do you call it? Dragon's milk. So I'm super excited. I'm your host Kai Zen. We're here to talk about space shit. And holy hell, is there a lot of news tonight? With us, let's go around the cast. Let's start off with we got Tweak 74 with the tactical officer. Say what up, Tweak.
Hello, everybody. Friday night once again. Here we are to talk about space.
Hell yeah. We also
Final frontier. Good things coming this week, I think.
Hell yeah. We also have all right, hold on. Let me just make one little note here. And then I can focus more on the show. We also have WOLFDRAGON, my XO. What up?
Well, hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this fine Friday evening. And as you can already tell from my ability to not talk correctly, I have been drinking. And right now, I'm currently working on a bottle of Silverhand Meadery's Black Velvet. It is a black currant mead. And it is delicious. It's going to fuck me up.
That will make for a fine Friday evening.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. We have two of our researchers with us tonight. We've got Lady RAYNECLOUD. Say what up, lady. What you drinking, chica?
What? Right now, nothing, because I just emptied a glass.
Okay.
So let me go figure out what I'm drinking, and I'll be back.
Right on. And we also have Chad LOSAN. What's up, Chad?
Hello, all. Well, it's another Friday night and lots of space news.
Yes. Lots to talk about. And we have this is a special surprise. Some of you OG people, I'm sure, will be like, what? We have a blast from the past here. We've got a member of the show who has, because of life reasons, been stuck away for a little bit, but is back tonight to talk to y'all. Say what up, mystery guest.
Buenas noches, mis amigos.
We got Roy in the house. Say, Roy Cookson. Yeah, brother, how you been? Tell us catch us up real quick on what's been happening in Roy's world.
Yeah, so I'm back. Lots going on. I just stuck my toe back in Elite in the last 24 hours. Some interesting stuff there to talk about. And man, I missed you guys. Wow.
We missed you.
I missed you guys so much.
We missed you so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
so happy to be back.
I'm happy as well. I saw you in the chat. You were like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "Roy, back from Mexico." Now, in fairness, you've been in America, but you've been like in America for a couple days, in Mexico for a couple days. But the real thing is just you've been working so goddamn much that it's like when you had time away, you had to be able to be with your family, right? You haven't been gaming.
Yeah, I'm part of the new trend of the overemployed. I'm like stacking jobs like missions with remote work and travel as well. It's all crazy. It's all good. It's all good. Things are starting to balance out. So I'm pretty happy with the trajectory. So
nice. Yeah. All right. So I'm just super thrilled to have you here, and hopefully work will allow you to keep coming back every week and hanging with us. I hope. I don't want to put any extra pressure on you. We'll talk about that later, but like, yeah, welcome home, brother. All right.
Thank you so much.
Right on. All right. So, yeah, let's get to it. So, why don't we start? There's so much to talk about this week. Why don't we start with a couple of things on the side I want to get into. There are amazing space games. You guys know I've been down the rabbit hole with New World, and I'm still loving that game and still going to be playing the hell out of that game, but I pretty much have accomplished everything in that game. I mean, I have every weapon maxed. I have all of my gear over 600. I've got every crafting class maxed, every gatherer maxed, all the quests done. I've done it all. So I'm gonna start to play around with some other stuff, but I'm getting back into more like, all right, this was a fun little mini vacation and reset, and now let's get back hard into the space games. I want to talk about two sort of games that we don't cover as much on the side, but Empyrion, which is an
Yep.
awesome space game, and this week, so we're going to start with the first one, which is Space Engineers. This week, Morphologist did a video, don't sleep on Space Engineers in 2022. I've been following that project on the side, and it's interesting. It's still in, whatever, early access, alpha, whatever, beta, whatever. But it's interesting, and I strongly encourage anyone who's looking, who's like, hey, I want to put a couple hours in a new space game, check out the Morphologist video on Space Engineers. There's a lot of good shit about it. So why don't we start off with I know Lady Rain has had some experience, but let's anyone who's played some Space Engineers talk about it a little bit, and then I want Rain to get us into Empyrion. Has anybody other than Rain played Space Engineers yet?
It's been a little bit.
Okay.
It's a great sandboxy, do whatever the hell you want. The modding community for it has been absolutely amazing. Their modding community is on par back in the real heyday of Minecraft's Feed the Beast sort of era. And there's still a huge modding community for Minecraft even then, but there's people who've made some good deal of machinima type things. It being a sandbox, it doesn't really have a whole lot of a storyline to it. So some of the mods that are in there will add storylines to it and playable. Like you have to do things in a certain way to progress, that kind of thing. But it's really one of those games where I had a lot of fun with it, but then I hit the wall of I'm out of my ability to be creative. So I've been kind of just sitting back and waiting and watching things that they've been doing to get the core of the game right. They've added a whole bunch of new blocks and new functionality. And if one thing will ever ring true, do not anger Clang, because Clang will kill you.
So my understanding of it is, because that's Morphologist basically was heavy into that. That's where I think he started, and then he sort of left that project, went to Star Citizen, and now he sort of came back to like, hey, I haven't played with this in a couple of years. What's up? And he's like, wow, there's so many new things. When was the last time you played it, Wolf?
It's been a couple of years.
Okay, so you might be interested to dip your toe back in and see what they've got going now.
Maybe.
I know for me, I had about 70, 80 hours into Space Engineers. It is called Space Engineers for a reason. Like when you're designing vehicles and ships and space stations and ground bases, you are really actually legitimately engineering things. Like you have to take fuel from fuel tanks, pipe it to engines to get the engines to go, and how is your ship's armor and internals, and where's the reactor, and where is your ship's, does your ship have any onboard construction facilities and things like that. And it's just an absolutely fantastic game. The most recent update was Warfare 2, which added a bunch of new functionality for weapon systems in the game, new weapons and things. And I agree with Morph. Don't sleep on it. It's a fantastic game. But again, as Wolf said, it is a super sandbox to the degree like you join in on the like a vanilla Space Engineers experience is basic survival, not even food, drink, or sleep or anything, just oxygen and energy, and just build stuff.
So interesting enough,
yeah.
I don't think you need. It's weird that you need oxygen, because you don't need food, drink, or sleep, because so it's the elevator pitch, just for people. Let's take a step back for people who have no clue what we're talking about. The elevator pitch on this is, it's basically like you had like Elite Dangerous or Star Citizen or No Man's Sky, whatever. It's a space game cross with Minecraft, and you're not a person, you're a robot. which is
No, you are a person.
Oh,
you are a person.
I thought you were a robot.
Nope, you're a person.
Oh, okay. Am I confusing that with a different one? I thought. All right. So I get. Oh, you're a person.
And you are. You're thinking of a different game.
Oh, okay. I thought that. Oh,
Space
yeah, yeah.
Station.
Space. Not space station. Space carrier. Space. Something. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the other one where you're a robot. Okay. In Space Engineers, you are a person, but they, but it's basically though, it's like very Minecrafty, and in addition to the basic version of that, of like, you know, you're building stuff, like you build your own ships Minecraft style, and then don't you have to like wire it up, and like there's little things where you have to give commands like here's a switch and if this then that or something, and then like
Oh yeah.
so super like for the builder type people, super Minecrafty, super build, like super for real sandboxy, you know, to the extent of like Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen and whatever, even they tout themselves as like, hey man, it's kind of like a sandbox in space, do whatever you want. Yeah, except for like that's like within that's still a very curated experience, whereas with this one it's literally build whatever you want wherever you want, and it's super weird and neat and cool. So I'm sorry, I just wanted to give that sort of back pitch for people who kind of didn't know. So what are some of the big changes that sort of you see as, hey man, for those of you who, because there's a lot where it's like, hey man, you played this game 4 years ago or 3 years ago and it was awesome, but then you finally sort of bounced off of it. Since then, there's like 6, isn't there like 5 or 6 like expansion packs or whatever for that one, where they're like, hey, we got this version, we got that thing.
Yeah, they kind of do like CD Projekt, or not CD Projekt, Paradox used to do, where you have a DLC pack that launches with free content that comes into the game in the form of an update, and then stuff that is part of the DLC, and the DLC is always cosmetic. And so the most recent expansion, which is Warfare 2, the free content was a bunch of new weapons that they sound amazing, they look amazing, complete overhaul to how weapon systems work in the game, how damage works with like armor pen and overpen, and finally being able to lock targets and control your turrets on your ships individually and things like that.
I need to correct. I need to correct something that I said earlier. I was thinking of that game, Space, whatever the hell it is, where that's the one that's in early access, whatever. This one, Space Engineers, full release, right? Like,
yes, it is.
Yeah. I was thinking of that one. I'm blanking on it, but it's the one where you're the robot. That's the one that's in the early access. So this is a fully released game that's got like 4 or 5 different expansion packs out, and
11 actually.
yeah. I think I might have bought it last year on the Steam summer sale. If not, I'm going to buy it because it's like, yeah, that seems like a fun thing that we can get together as a community and fuck around with for you know, a night or whatever, and then maybe turn it into a fairly regular thing. And I, you know, you and Wolf can lead the way on that one, because I'm a babe in the woods on that game. Yeah. So check it out. Super interesting. Check out Morphologist's video on it this week, where he's like, hey man, don't sleep on this game. It's very, very cool. So why don't you lead us into a little bit about Empyrion, that I know you were streaming it earlier tonight. You've been playing that game for a hot minute, and I've seen a couple of your streams where you're on it, and it seems like a super neat game. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it real quick?
Now that one, on the other hand, is about 370 hours of gameplay. I've been with Empyrion for a very long time. It's an indie game that is, you know, in the same sort of vein as, say, Space Engineers. Community is really good, but it is far less advanced in terms of like what's required. So like in Space Engineers, where you have to take a reactor and hook pipes up to it, to the engines and stuff like that. In Empyrion, that doesn't. Do you have a reactor on the ship somewhere and a fuel tank on the ship somewhere? Yes, it works. You don't have to have things engineered and piped up. But the thing about Empyrion that sells it over Space Engineers for me is that Empyrion has factions, AI factions, that you can gain and lose reputation with and go to war with and fight PvE battles with, and there's, you know, food and oxygen, and it has a galaxy of over 10,000 solar systems. And you know, there's always stuff to do. Like you choose to fight a war. There's even lore and little quests in it and stuff like that. There's a tech tree. It's a fantastic game, and I really, really suggest people take a look at it. It is on Steam. It's $20 on Steam right now. That's not on sale, unfortunately. But it released as well. It's not early access anymore. It released back in 2020. But they're on version 1.7 now on the experimental branch, so they're still supporting it after release. And I think people would like Empyrion a lot because you get to build space stations and bases and vehicles and spaceships like Minecraft, block by block. And there's actually stuff to do. There's trading, and there's mining, and there's NPC factions to fight or gain reputation and do missions for. And there's actually an entire galaxy. You know, we're not talking elite scale, obviously, but I think 10,000 solar systems for you to explore is plenty for one person to play a single player experience, right?
I think arguably you could say, you could make the argument that that's a little preferable in the sense of like all of those systems are great if you're using them, but when you have 10,000, it's a little easier to sort of maybe fill it up with some unique interest points or whatever. I don't know.
Well, and the cool thing about the Empyrion devs too is almost every major update, what they do is they have a system where people can make factions and submit those factions to be put in the game. And so the Brotherhood of Far, for example, was made by a YouTuber, I think Spange is his name, who made this faction and submitted it, and that faction is in the game now. That's a faction that you can go to war with or you can become friends with. And like the Xerax, the Creel faction was made by one of the more popular builders on the workshop and is a full-scale faction, an empire.
Nice.
So that happens too, and you don't really see that in Space Engineers or any other space game where... And there's actually like a form submission, like you must have...
Elite. Everything you've described, I don't know when Empyrion became a thing, but if I didn't know better, I think you were describing Elite Dangerous with factions to fight for and all that, PMFs to submit in and all that kind of stuff. That's right out of Elite.
Sort of, except for the way Elite did it was a little more like, okay, you have this thing and it doesn't ever touch the story. Whereas I think in Empyrion, once you submit a faction like that, it kind of becomes more of like the actual universe where it's like it's part of, there's quests and there's stuff and it's more tied into, like they're like, cool, we're going to actually weave this into the story. Whereas I can't recall the last time that anyone really at Fdev weaved a PMF into the story like centrally. I mean, you could say sort of
Fuel Rats, I guess.
You could. Well, I mean, they're not really weaved into the lore or story at all.
Sure they are. The NPCs mention the Fuel Rats now in the bars and stuff. You hear them talking about the Fuel Rats.
Oh, that's super. That is super cool. I got to be honest with you. I have not touched Elite Dangerous in maybe 9 months. I played it the hell out of it when it first came out with Odyssey. I was super, super bummed, and I was like, well, fuck this, I'm out. I am going to go back and try within the next couple of weeks Elite Dangerous, and you know, that's super cool. Thank you for bringing that up. I want to getting back to Empyrion real quick because we're gonna get to Elite, I swear. One of the things that I sort of fell in love with when I saw it on Lady Rain's stream, I popped in for a minute just to say like, oh, this is cool. What's this about? And she was by a black hole. And it had that very cool accretion disk looking. It was super, super neat. It was, so number one, it had a gorgeous accretion disk. It looked, remember the black hole that you see in
Interstellar?
In Interstellar, but also in Foundation. That was on the. It was literally on that one Foundation poster. They showed that black hole. Like it was from when the ship makes the micro black hole and it jumps, and you're like, whoa! It had that, like, it had the accretion disk. It had the whole thing. I saw that in Empyrion, and I was like, so sexy. It was so fucking cool, and it's neat too because, like, also when you're close, as you get closer and closer to the black hole, space gets more black. Like, you don't see stars, and the reason for that, and this would work in real life theoretically at least, when you get closer and closer to a black hole, you don't see the light from any other source because the light's getting sucked in, like the light is getting sucked into the gravity of the black hole. So when you get close to a black hole, the black hole itself, the accretion disk of it, like, the black hole is obviously super dark. The accretion disk is super light, but the stars around it become less and less visible because the light is getting sucked into the black hole. And it just, it looks so beautiful that I was like, this is a $20 game? Yeah, I think I'm interested. But I was it was right when Odyssey was getting released, and I was like, I have no time for anything other than Odyssey. Boy, look how that turned out.
I really do suggest, because you can do like custom dedicated servers too. All of Minecraft, like you can run an Empyrion server as well. Just like Space Engineers has dedicated servers too. So both of these games, like, the reason I was streaming tonight is because I was doing Skunkworks community game exploration night, where we're trying to, at least once a week, same for how I used to do for BSL, try to get back, show people space games they might not know about.
Nice.
And both of these games, if the community wanted to, there's nothing stopping us from spinning up dedicated servers to play these games together and enjoy, these worlds and expanding our horizons and stuff like that. And Empyrion, again, is a fantastic experience because, like I said, they're players that they build lore. They write their own lore, and there's an actual application process, and you have to have so many POIs and so many types of certain vehicles, and you have to, like, have a color palette and a lore write-up and everything before the devs will look at it. And then usually, like, you can see somebody, like, work on a faction, submit it, and it's in, like, the next update.
Yes.
And all of a sudden you have a whole brand new faction with lore and stuff. That's in the galaxy, and the galaxy is huge. It's 10,000 systems, and there's not enough factions in it. Like 90% of the galaxy is empty. So, but the cool thing there is there's still wildlife and alien life, and there's different planets with different stuff to explore. So.
When you say there's wildlife and alien life, here's the thing. Does it find that happy medium? And here's what I'm saying. To me, Elite Dangerous has too little of that. It's a big fucking galaxy of empty circles, and they failed to put shit in there with their vaunted procedural generation. And quite possibly Nomansky, let's be honest. I love Nomansky, but quite honestly, it has a little too much. Every planet you get to, they got, okay, there's 1,000 different things, there's whatever. I would love to find, I'm like Goldilocks. It's like, oh, this bed is too soft. Oh, this bed is too hard. I would love it if there was a game out there that had, like, just right, like the meter, like, hey man, you might jump through 10 star systems and there's nothing. And then you jump in to that 11th and it's like, holy shit, there's ruins. Or that 12th, and it's like, holy shit, there's an actual alien, like, there's plants. There's fucking, there's a weird bird. Here's a fish that wants to eat me. Here's a dude has a city. Like, there's, like, actual fucking, intelligent, sentient life, whatever you want to call it. Like, where do they fall on that?
Outside of faction territory, space is, when I say empty, I mean it's like you'd expect. You can find a volcanic planet with an atmosphere with no life on it, to a barren rocky moon, to a Gaia world with herds of dinosaurs on it, and hostile wildlife, like spider type creatures and things like that, to ancient ruins, to, like, if you're actually following the storyline, exploring the faction territory known as the Legacy, which is like this ancient alien civilization that's more powerful than the two big empires, the Creel and the Xerax, that are in the game. And you have to be like super in-game to even take them on. And they have all these ancient ruins and ancient tech, and their ships are dangerous. And when you're in faction territory, especially, the game is alive. Like if you're in Xerax space and you're in space or on a planet, you build a base, they will send attacks. The AI will send drones and troop transports to assault your base. You actually have to kick them off the planet, like destroy their stuff.
So you've just activated my nerd boner. So that's
Empyrion is a fantastic game for $20.
Yeah, I am going to be.
Yeah, you're selling past the close.
I am definitely going to be getting that game. So yes, and obviously, Rain, make sure that we know whenever it's like, oh, also, and it's on sale. For me, $20, I'm in. But there might be other people that are like, well, I'll get it when it goes to 10 or whatever. So like, let us know.
Like I said, I got 400 hours of gameplay in a $20 game, so do the math.
Yeah. So I would like to open this up, everybody. We've talked a little bit, and so from the chat, people are saying, "Are you talking about Starbase? Are you talking about Dual Universe?" I was definitely talking about Starbase. Dual Universe.
Yes.
Everyone, please, and I'm not a hater of games. I am not a whatever. You know me. I'm trying to root for everybody to succeed. Don't buy Dual Universe. Here's what happened. Dual Universe had a cat who was like the designer, creator, the Chris Roberts, the David Braben of Dual Universe. There was a cat that was the main guy. He created it. He needed funding, so he went to this funding dude, and he's like got some kind of loans, whatever. He defaulted on his shit or whatever. It didn't work out quick enough, fast enough, right enough, whatever. And under whatever the terms of their agreement was, the money guy took it over. The money guy then turned around and was like gutted everything they were going to do, started monetizing like everything he could, and was like, and whatever. The creator of this game got pushed out entirely, as far as I know. Now, please correct me. If I'm giving out bad information, somebody please correct me. But from the last that I heard about this, and this was like 8 months ago, it was a while back. The last I heard, the creator, the genius creator of the game, is no longer even attached to the project. He got pushed out entirely by the money asshole, and the money asshole was like trying to figure out ways to just get as much cash as he could. If I'm wrong, please correct me, and we'll whatever. If I'm right, stay the fuck away from that game. Fuck the money guys. Like, I absolutely say support all of the creators, but the creator got kicked out. He's not even attached to it anymore. So yeah, I was talking about Starbase. That one looks super interesting, super exciting, but it's super early days. That's the one where you're a robot, and it's super Minecrafty as well. But this Empyrion that Rain was talking about sounds super, super exciting. So guys, everybody here, hop in. Your thoughts on Space Engineers, your thoughts on Empyrion based on the stuff that was going on before we move on. I want to give everybody a chance to express, because Roy hasn't said anything, Wolf hasn't that much. Ideas. Go for it.
So,
Chad as well.
There's a category of games I play that I often play with my kids and set up a server. Like Minecraft is obviously in that category. Ark, we've done that. I've looked at Space Engineers, and it's like the thing, and I was super stoked with Morphologist's video. But hearing about Empyrion is like it kind of like scratches the itch that was left unscratched when I watched the Space Engineers video, which is like, and hearing your discussion about the Goldilocks thing, I think there's actually a third leg on that. So I think there's a point of the sandbox and having an open space you can play in. There's a point of having just enough lore, structure, story, narrative to kind of provide a skeleton for your sort of head canon to work within. And then I think the third, at least for me, the third leg of that is a little bit of crafting, a little bit of, and in Elite, theory crafting ships, that's what scratched that. But obviously these other games you can do voxel editing, landscape manipulation, building your ship from blocks, some degree of that. I think those three things are like the three ingredients for me in a and a really awesome game. And so I'm, just hearing Lady Rain talk about Empyrion, I'm like totally stoked to go try that over diving into the rabbit hole of watching, 30 hours of videos on space engineers to level up on that. So I think Lady Rain, you've switched my vector there to go towards
Good.
Empyrion.
Well, and the other
first.
thing is, no offense to either game, I'm sure they're both lovely, whatever. Imperium is a $20 game. Space Engineers is whatever it is for the original game, and then there's 11 expansions. So while it may be wonderful and awesome and whatever, it's way more of an investment if you want to get into all of it,
It is. Well, and the other thing too, the good thing about Empyrion, real quick, is you have Minecraft levels of control over the exact gameplay experience. So when you start a new game, you have all of the stuff that you can turn on or turn off or turn this up or turn it down. For example, the game has a CPU system where blocks take up computer power. You can turn that off. It has a weights and volumes system so that the ships and vehicles you build have to worry about how much they actually weigh and how much they can lift off of a planet. You can turn that off. If you want that on for the extra build challenge and build diversity and things like that, turn it on. If you don't want it, turn it off. And not only that, Empyrion has a scenario system. It comes with default scenarios. One of those is called Invader versus Defender, which is like a curated story type experience. The other one's called Project Eden, which completely overhauls the galaxy. So there's a lot more there than you get with Space Engineers. Because with Space Engineers, you can obviously put scripted AI stuff in the game, and people have made custom solar systems. But we're talking about Empyrion, an entire galaxy with a dozen different factions and all kinds of stuff to do and scenarios and things like that.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but what it sounds like you're saying is Empyrion gives you a slider sort of through its different options of make it more realistic, make it less realistic. And on the left side of the slider, you have a much more No Man's Sky, super sort of simplified experience. On the right side of the slider, you have a way more Kerbal Space Program, holy shit, you're really got to get all of your trajectory and your weight differentials and your shit right. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to achieve orbit or whatever.
To a degree, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. And not just that, but it really is just a completely different experience. The community is obviously a lot smaller than Space Engineers. There's only 2,000 people playing right now, but it's a very customizable experience. So. And I suggest people get both. I love
hell yeah.
games.
Support. Here's the deal. Support all the space games. If you like space games, support. I'm so sick and tired of the whole and I know, don't get me wrong, I know I shit on Elite a decent amount but it's only because I loved it and it broke my heart. But I'm gonna try it again. But I want Elite. I'm sus as fuck. But I so want Elite. I pray to God every day that Elite pulls it out and does something. I so want Elite to succeed. I so want No Man's Sky to continue to flourish. I so want Star Citizen to be a massive success. I so want all of because if you love the genre, you should be rooting for all of them. It's entirely now. I get it. Let's take a second to just address the fact the old model. It's 1999, it's 2000, 2001. The old model was that everybody was sub, and either you were a World of Warcraft player or you were a Final Fantasy 11 player. That's it. Those were your options. And if you were a World of Warcraft player, you were paying $20 a month to play World of Warcraft, or 14 or 15, whatever, however much it was, I forget. Or you were paying, the $19 a month or whatever to play Final Fantasy 11. 14 wasn't invented then, but I get that. Back in those times, the sub model reigned supreme, and you picked one game and you were loyal to it. And in that situation, it became this sort of weird tribalistic bullshit of you shit on everything else because it wasn't your thing, because you wanted everything else to die so your thing would flourish. Those days are past. We're not in those days anymore. The games that are coming out now, Play New World and enjoy it as an MMO. And then people are like, oh, but Lost Ark came out. I have to pick one. No, you don't. Neither one of them have a subscription. Play them both. With regard to the space game genre, you know, I think you don't have to pay a subscription to play Elite. And let me tell you something. Elite Dangerous Odyssey was absolute dog shit. And they're maybe going to fix it, maybe not. But Elite Dangerous Original and Elite Dangerous Horizons are fucking brilliant. If you haven't tried them, you can get them on sale on Steam or different times. Like, there's always sales running where it's like, hey, you can get Elite Dangerous Original for $7. That'll be the best $7 you ever spent in your life. Go get it. Star Citizen, you can right now. They've got a bunch of ships on sale. They've got packs, like the 135 is on a pack for like $45 or something. The Aurora you can get for $40. For $40,
for the next 4 days, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that for sure too. But for $40, you can buy the whole game of Star Citizen and a ship, and you don't have to put in another penny for the rest of your life. If you want to, great, support them, do whatever, but do what you feel is right. But you don't have to. For $40, you can own Star Citizen and never pay another penny, and you own Star Citizen the game, and when it finally is released, you can actually buy all of the ships in game, every ship, including the fucking Idris, all the way up. Right now, you can buy, now, yeah, your money will be reset sometimes. Like, the last time it was reset was like 3 months ago. Before that, it was a year and a half back. Like, so maybe you have another year and a half, maybe you have 6 months, maybe you have 10 months. Nobody knows, but you can buy and earn all of the ships other than the ones that were released in the last quarter. The whole point that I'm making, the only point that I'm making here is, it's stupid to shit on Empyrion because you love Space Engineers. It's stupid to shit on Star Citizen because you love Elite, or shit on Elite because you love Star Citizen. Don't be that tribal person. That's old thinking. That's outdated. You don't need that shit. Support them all. Like, go spend $20 on Empyrion and play the fuck out of that. And after you're done, go buy, like, find when it's on sale for the Space Engineers. Buy just the vanilla pack. Play that a little bit. Then add expansions if you like it. Go pay $7, or, you know, you can get it when it's on sale for like $5. Get Elite Dangerous, the original, if you've never tried it. Go spend the $40 right now and get Star Citizen. If you like space games, and if you don't, I don't know why you're listening to the show. Support all of them. Don't be that shitty person that has never played Elite but likes to shit on it because you're a Star Citizen fanboy. If so, you're a bad person. Stop. Change. It's not too late. You're not dead yet. Change how you live your life. Be a better person. Don't be that person who shits on Star Citizen because you love Elite. That's small-minded tribal. Like, support all of them. Hope all of them succeed.
That's a great point.
Chad's been fucking super quiet. So Chad, what do you think about A, what I just said, or B, like Empyrion or Space Engineers, any of these?
No, they're all fantastic. I looked at the Empyrion stuff in Starbase, and they all have these visions. They all are, you know, kind of following the Star Citizen model where they're being developed in the open, where they're pre-release, they get feedback, they do updates, get more feedback, and keep going. And the game is driven by the users, people who are paying for the game and using it, which is fantastic. The days of like Battlefield 2042, where they go into a hole for 3 years and come out, oh, it's done, and then it's complete trash.
Yeah, those days are gone.
Those days are gone.
Yeah.
Well, and with Empyrion, for example, when version 1.7 launched, they put out the dev team routinely every couple quarters puts out a what do you like, what do you not like, what do you want to see poll, and then they post the results of that poll publicly and say, okay, you've told us this is now our direction for the next couple patches, you know. That's a big thing.
I just want to show some love to the beautiful fucking people in our chat watching live, between Jay, Load 200, Antonio, Breaker of Worlds. I'm seeing people that are saying like, yeah, man, I love Elite. That's my main game. But ooh, I bought Star Citizen and an Aurora, and I'm having fun with it. Or Star Citizen is my main whatever. But oh hell yeah, I'm playing Elite and it's fun. That's what I'm talking about. Just these people who are not tribal and small-minded. These people who are part of the new wave who are saying like, I'm not on Team Star Citizen. I'm not on Team Elite. I'm on Team me. I love space games. I want to buy all the space games and try them. And if I get it, if Elite tomorrow said, hey, you got to pay $20 a month to play our game, well, I'd stop playing. But it's free. Play it. If Star Citizen said you got to pay, $30 a month to play our game, well, I think, honestly, when that one gets to the point of release and it's ready, I might be like, yeah, fuck it, I'm in. But, like, as it stands right now, it's not at that point. And they will be the first to tell you that, which is why they don't charge you anything to play. Empyrion, same thing. Starbase and this one and that. All of them, like, if they cost you $30 once, $40 once, $8, whatever it is, once, and then you get to play it for the rest of your life for free, dip your toe in, man. Have some fun. If nothing else, even if you're not a fan of it per se, even if you try it and you're like, man, I spent $20 on Empyrion, I played it, it wasn't whatever. Okay, cool. But now you own it for forever. And in a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, they put out the new patch, they put out the new thing. You're like, whoa, I like this part they added in. A perfect example is Tweaked. Tweaked is like, man, I bought No Man's Sky, and it's just not for me yet. I don't like the fact that the only thing you're really fighting is the robots, the Sentinels. I want to be able to fight. I want some baddies that I root against. I want, honestly, let's be honest, man. The best thing in video games, okay, do not quote this out of context, but Nazis are awesome because I don't like, here's the deal. I don't like shooting people. I spent time in the United States Marine Corps flying around the world to shoot brown people for quasi-decent reasons, and I have conflicted feelings about some of the experiences that I had in that. So when all these new fucking, modern warfare, this, that, and the other, and you're flying around the world shooting brown people, I have ethical qualms where it's like, I don't feel good about some of this. It brings up bad feelings and conflicted issues I have. I love Nazis. I'll shoot a Nazi in the face all day and giggle. Nazis and zombies, I can murder them by the truckload and not feel any fucking bad feelings of like, ooh, I don't know if that was good. I don't, that guy had a dad. That guy had a son. That guy had a wife. I'll shoot a Nazi in the face. Oh, you got a wife and a kid? Fuck you. You're a Nazi. I don't care. So, like, I lost the point of where I was going with that.
God damn it, Ty.
That was freaking awesome.
Damn it, Ty.
But I'm saying, I forgot. I legit lost the point of where I was going with that. But like,
we're going. We need real bad guys, not just robots.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So that's where Tweaked is at. Tweak is like, yo, bro. I don't mind, like, it's cool, No Man's Sky is fine, but, like, I need them to introduce space Nazis, like, actual bad guys that I hate. All they have that you shoot right now in No Man's Sky is robots, and I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I'm not, whatever. Tweak wants to shoot some Nazis, space Nazis, and I get it. Like, okay, but just because it might not have what you want right now doesn't mean it won't have it in a month from now, or 6 months, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, legitimately, it's one of those things where he bought it, he paid his money, he owns it, and now if a month from now, or, well, they just released a thing this week that we're going to talk about, but if 6 months from now, No Man's Sky drops a new release where they're like, hey, the Gem Hadar, like space Nazis from another galaxy came through a wormhole and they're going to try to wipe out all life in your quadrant of the galaxy, you could be like, oh, fuck yeah. Let's go. And at that point, I think Tweaks is going to pick up a rifle and get in there. But just because it doesn't have exactly what he wants now, he doesn't feel the need to, like, shit on it and try to kill it. He's just like, all right, that's cool. I tried it. I'll come back when they put in what I want. And I think that's the way we should all sort of look at it. And this rant is brought to you by Weisenbach Hell Aladdin Burger, which is a very good Hell Weizenbach beer. Yeah.
Maybe we should move on to
Yeah.
hearing what Wolf and Tweaked have to say about Empyrion Space Engineers.
Do it.
All right, I'll go first. I like Space Engineers, own it, have played it, been a hot minute. Last time I played Empyrion, I remember that it had planets in the system. I think it was just the one system,
It was, yeah.
and I think the CPU thing was there, but it had issues, so it was kind of like, turn this on and use at your own will while we figure out what's going on with it based on your feedback, kind of deal. So, Rain, I'm guessing that'll probably give a good data point for when the last time I actually was in there.
About a year or two ago.
Yeah, actually, I think you might be right.
Yep.
It sounds like the game's grown up a lot since
yeah.
then, and it like Space Engineers was like, okay, I had my fun. I took over the planets. I killed off all the Xerax. I think they were the red color.
Yep.
It's like, oh, you fly around. Oh, that's red. Oh, I'm getting shot at. Okay, now I gotta take the scout ship that I made and go get the thing that's actually designed to go deal some absolute significant hell down on these guys and just blow them the fuck up. But I would take over the planet. I would go do the other thing. I would have things set up to harvest the resources so I could build whatever I wanted. And I very quickly burned through the available content at the time. So it was like, all right, that's neat. Bones are here. Let's see what happens. And I'm glad you mentioned it. I'm sorry I missed the stream. I feel like I really missed out on something with that one. So definitely ping me when you do that again. But
Will do.
Yeah.
Whoa,
sounds like the game's grown up, and I'm happy.
Let's take a moment and plug right now. Lady Rain, when are the next time you're doing an Empyrion stream so everybody here who was like, hey, man, I want to check that out can go?
That will probably be... You know what? I will say I will be doing an Empyrion stream Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Hell yeah. Go check it out. Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Check out Lady RAYNECLOUD in Empyrion. Lady RAYNECLOUD is gonna post her in the fucking live chat. She's gonna post her her Twitch channel. So go check it out. Sunday, 6 p.m. All right. So I think we covered those. Let's hop into super briefly. Just has anybody seen The Silent Sea on Netflix? It's it's a Korean show. They go to a space station on the moon, and they're looking for a whole, like, they're trying to solve a mystery. They're sent up there with like not complete information, and things aren't what they expect when they get up there. Has anybody else seen Silent Sea on Netflix? Because it's fucking amazing if you haven't seen it yet.
Sounds super cool. I haven't seen it.
It's on my list.
It is. So let's put it this way. It is sort of the next Squid Game in a way. It's going to be a thing, man. It's going to be a thing. And it's set in space. It is, holy shit. It is so fucking good. If you have Netflix, it's free. Go fucking watch it. Anybody seen it? Have any comments? If not, we'll move on.
You didn't give Tweaked a chance to say about
Tweaked.
Space Engineers and Empyrion.
Tweaked, Space Engineers and Empyrion, man. Hook it up.
Well, I think we pretty much covered it all, really. I mean, all I can say about Space Engineers is I tried it about a year or so ago on Xbox. It was a free thing. I think it was on Game Pass at the time. I gave it a shot. I had a couple friends that really loved it. It was not my thing, for sure. I prefer to play in a universe that's already built. I like to break the universe and watch it come back together. I don't like building it and all that kind of thing. It's just not the kind of games I've ever enjoyed.
Yeah, man. That's cool, man. That's fine. Not everything is for everyone. If you're like, hey, man, I don't want to build shit. I just want all the stuff built and I want to use it. I think, honestly, for me, if I had to guess, I would say Star Citizen is exactly the perfect flavor for Tweaked. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not shitting on anything else. It's just that's what he wants. And beautiful, man. do you, you know?
That's 100% correct. For me, like you said, Star Citizen, it's the exact right flavor for what I've been craving in a game for a long time.
Hell
And
yeah.
Empyrion, I've never really heard of it. It sounds interesting. It has all the parts of Elite that I've always liked, really, it sounds like. To me, it's going to depend on graphics and all that kind of thing, I think, because
It's a much smaller team with a much smaller budget.
I get that, and I'm not saying I need like spectacular Star Citizen graphics all the time, but I've played 16-bit games and all that, and I'm kind of done with that era of my life, I think. So I can't be playing those types of things anymore. But the content of it sounds interesting for sure.
Hell yeah. All right. So I think we're ready to move on. Does anybody have anything else on these?
No, just from my perspective, from my quick thing, the weekly shows on Friday before this one, excuse me, we'll be covering a different game. And so to let everybody know, the list of games real quick is Astroneer, Avorion, Celestial Command, Mercury Fallen, Planet Base, Pulsar, Rebel Galaxy, Sins of a Solar Empire if you've never played it, Starhammer, Sword of the Stars, and Void Destroyer. That's the games. Void Destroyer 2, actually. Those are the games on the list, and those are everything from space colony games to RTS games to space sandbox survival to bridge simulator, where you're a crew of people on one ship in a galaxy to explore and have fun and do stuff with. So there's a lot coming. And it's for the Black Sky Legion community as well as the Skunkworks community. And that is every Friday at 6 p.m., so 2 hours before this show on my channel. And I go over the games for about an hour and a half because I have to obviously, if I'm going to be on the show, I jump off and, hop in here. But 6 p.m. Eastern every Friday, join me for a different space game every week. And then we play that game throughout the week after it's been introduced on the channel on Friday.
Hell yeah. Lady Rain, make sure that you post in both the Twitch and the YouTube chat your stream so people can go, just click on the link right now, pop it for a second, subscribe, and then put on the notifications so that you get to see Friday nights. Go check out that channel out for very cool space games. All right. We got the three biggies now to go through. We got Nomansky, we got Elite, and we've got Star Citizen. Why don't we put Star Citizen? We normally put first, but let's be honest, that's because most weeks we don't have real news for the other two. Let's put it last this week. I'm sorry, I'm gonna make you guys wait. It'll be worth it when you get there. Let's start with Nomansky. Now I want Wolf to sort of lead the conversation on this. Nomansky had a brand new update is what they call it, just come out, the Sentinel update. And it did a major rework of combat, added in new pets you can get. Next week, there's a new expedition that I think Wolf and I will be doing together. There is tons of new shit, and it's super, super cool. And the Nomansky population or crowd is going wild with this shit. It is super, super fun. Wolf, tell us more about it.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to throw the Sentinel update link into chat, so that anybody wants to click that, they can follow along later. But this was absolutely huge. They completely overhauled everything with combat. They gave us new weapons. There's new Sentinels to fight. I'm sure the new Sentinels have their own weapons. The Sentinel AI for its combat tactics and whatnot got redone. You can get active camouflage to sneak around rather than being a tunnel rat and whatnot. I remember doing that a lot because I didn't have anywhere near what I needed to mess with some of the Sentinels that were at places I needed to go do things at. So that's a very nice thing. Which, yeah, you go unlock it, you go do the thing, and it's awesome. The Sentinel mech, that looks mean. I don't want to. I don't think I want to mess with that. Just messing with the regular little robots themselves were a pain in the ass to begin with, but now it looks like they have proper swarm tactics, and it looks like there's some. You go here behind a rock, and they will flank you from
Yeah.
more than one position. So, like, actually, got to deal with things. Visually, they've changed a lot. The multi-tool, the existing weapon effects, and all, everything just got a lot prettier. And one of the big things that's in here is a nice little free upgrade, quote unquote. They've got AMD Fidelity FX super resolution support and NVIDIA's DLAA for that AI-based anti-aliasing. Both of those make your card work differently to achieve the final result, and that final result is more pretty. So if you've got a card that can support those graphics processes, which it's not you got to have the quote unquote new, the game's going to look a lot better for a lot of people who are on much more budget friendly rigs than anything that's been built since COVID kicked out, and we're not going to go into the supply chain problems that have driven up the cost of computer stuff, any computer stuff, since that happened. Still scrolling down my list and looking at here. The neat thing that I saw was, remember the Minotaur suit that you build and can walk around with?
Yep.
You can pop a little module on it and be like, okay, now you have a brain. So I get out, walk around, and you can tell it to follow you and engage targets and help you out.
Your new teammate.
It's your new buddy. It's not just the big thing that was a pain in the ass to drive around and do whatnot with. Now they did tweak how it drives around compared to how it was before. It's not nearly as responsive as one of the more popular mods for fixing it is, but it's a hell of a lot better and it's a lot more user friendly. You can get your own AI drone as a pet.
Yep.
So and you can
the
program
little dog guy.
You can program it. So whatever you would like it to do, within the bounds of it's there, you can give it its own personality and whatnot that suits you, which is totally cool. A big thing in here for me, because I've got one of these things on pre-order, and to be quite honest, this was the game that I bought it for. Steam Deck. The new console by Valve, which it's not really a console, it's actually a handheld gaming PC. 100% native Steam Deck support.
Nice.
You can look up No Man's Sky on what's the system called? Proton? And it's not quite the high tier, it's one tier down. There's one fix that you have to do. The game devs behind No Man's Sky looked at that and said, you know what? We can fix that. Not only did they fix that, they said, oh, we'll just include native support for the touchpads and the way the controls are so that it's the same intuitive experience that you would like. I picked up No Man's Sky just so that I could get back into, here's a console, I have dumb thumb syndrome, let's play the game, and this is probably the most forgiving game for me to actually go from keyboard and mouse for FPS to full-on HOTAS or HOSAS for doing space combat stuff. And it's like, okay, and now here's this thing, and I turn my hands to that position, and my thumbs don't remember which one does what anymore. It's very, very frustrating. This game got rid of that, and oh hey, by the way, here's the new thing that we think is gonna take off pretty good. We're gonna make sure it runs really good on this thing, so that one, more people will play our game on another brand new platform, quote unquote. But also, I kind of think that Steam Deck is gonna take the fuck off. And you know what? Like we were saying earlier, I want to be, you want to be Team Space Game. I want to be Team Game Platform. I don't care what it is. As long as it plays the games good, I'm happy.
I think basically Steam Deck to me is like what is that? What is the little fucking Nintendo Wii U or Wii? What's the new Nintendo?
Switch.
Switch. It's the
Switch.
Nintendo. It's like the Switch for adults. It's like here's the Switch for people who don't fucking play cartoon games.
Oh,
and
hush
I
you.
love it. I
Zelda's great.
I love Zelda. I love Zelda. I love Mario. No,
Netta,
but,
man,
you
come
stepped in it now.
on.
but
Nintendo.
it's the
right?
Switch for adults. Come on, let's be honest.
That's true. But I think I'm glad that you explained it the way you did, Wolf, because for a Marine, it's like in good is really easy to understand.
Mhm.
Yes. Well,
yeah.
remember, our Marine is drunk tonight, so I do have to use the simple words.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Hey. In my defense, I'm always drunk. All right. Yeah. So yes. There's so much stuff in this No Man's Sky update that I feel like, okay, yes, it's not gonna. So here's the thing. There's a spectrum of people. This isn't gonna attract Tweaked because he wants Jem'Hadar. He wants space Nazis to kill, and I get that. But what this game did, what this expansion or update, as they say for No Man's Sky, what this update did was it brought in better AI decision making to make the combat more real. It wasn't about changing the face of the baddies. It was about changing the tactics, the mechanics. Yes, the foundation, the mechanics of how combat works and making it better.
Well, the thing is so Sentinels now, they have a little summoner drone that summons in additional reinforcements, and they have little repair drones that also will act as little healers. And then you have the big stompy mechs and the even bigger stompy mechs. And then, they will flank you. They'll put up little energy shields to stop you from shooting. So there's like a whole lot there that they can build off of. And need I remind people that this is like the 18th, 19th
Free
update.
Free.
Yeah.
And
Free
6
update.
solid years of work from Hello Games.
No Man's Sky was dog shit when it dropped. And then they just went and went and went. And literally about 2 years ago, they already had redeemed themselves. They were like, okay, I got my money's worth. And they were like, oh no, we're not finished. We're going to give you 3 or 4 more years of free shit because we don't want to be good enough. We want to be the best $20 you ever spent. And they're doing it. God bless them.
Well, and Sean said, and he actually did talk again. There was an article. He did an interview a couple days ago, and he said that they're not done by a long shot.
Yep.
They have a list of stuff they want to keep adding to the game.
And here's why. Let's be honest. They've also announced for investors, hey man, we're working on our next thing. Our next thing is a project that's going. And let me tell you something. You are dumb if you don't get that all of this shit that they're doing in No Man's Sky, where you're getting it for free, this is their test bed for all of the shit they're working on for the next thing they're going to charge you money for. But, so is that good business on their part? Are they being smart and getting their money's worth? Absolutely. What you as the customer is getting is tons of development dollars for free. So are they being smart? Yes. Does that still benefit you? Yes. Are you stupid if you don't take advantage of this opportunity to get millions of dollars of development money for free for something you've already purchased so it costs you nothing? Of course. This is what I'm talking about when I say this is the new model. Sean Murray, this is good business. This is, hey, we're giving people something for free, and we're using that to test our tech for the next thing that we're going to charge people money for. Well,
they put out another
great.
game. They put out, in 2020, they put out a little game called Last Campfire. And just a few months ago, they relaunched the original Joe Danger mobile games as well.
Yep.
And they're working on a new Joe Danger game apparently too. So supporting Hello Games right now I personally, there are people that I've talked to that are the kind of people that they have to be in the YouTube channel 6 years later and 18 free content updates later. Sean Murray lied and he's a piece of shit and he should die or whatever. And like,
You know
guys, what the hell?
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. Sean Murray did lie. He did. He promised lots of shit that didn't happen. But you are an idiot if you don't acknowledge the fact that, the guy made it right. He made it right. Yes, he lied to you at the time. He promised lots of shit that didn't happen. I don't think that was by his choice. I think what happened was he signed a big deal with Sony. He promised stuff with every intention of making it happen. And then they were like, yo, we own your ass. You're putting this out now. And as a result, he ended up like, oh, shit. Dad says I got to go home now. So I know I promised you I'd hang out and play football for another 3 hours. But Dad says, fuck you, I'm done. Yikes. But he made it right. So if you're mad at Sean for lying to you in, 2015, 2016? Okay, you're right. I'm not saying he didn't lie to you. I'm saying the only person you're hurting by not going back and trying it now is you. Because you already own it. And yes, he lied to you. Let's not beat around the bush. But he made it right eventually. He had to do what Dad said. Dad was Sony in this case, if you're not keeping up. But he made it right eventually. Go try it out because you already own it. So if you refuse to do it because Sean Murray was attached, the only person you're hurting is you. Don't hurt you. Be nice to you.
Well,
try it.
I thought as gamers we wanted this too, right?
Yes.
Did they lie and they screwed up? Yeah, but they've spent the last 6 years making it right.
Fuck yeah.
I thought we wanted that from our devs, don't we? Right?
Yeah. Well, I want Roy to say that again loudly and clearly because it needs.
It's an awesome redemption story.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
And before them, the only other big redemption story was Final Fantasy. So we want our devs to make it right when they screw up. We would like them not to screw up in the first place, sure. But when they do, we want them to make it right because there's a couple studios right now that are not making it right.
Yep. So let's hop into. Does anybody have anything else on that? If not, look forward to hearing more from me and Wolf either next week or the week after, depending on when they drop it on the expedition, because we're gonna do that, right, Wolf?
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. The expeditions I think are the most fun part about No Man's Sky because I like structured things to go do because much like with I went and I found this ship or I did this, that, and the other. It's like, okay, now what? Like, give me a task to do, and the expeditions do that masterfully. And every time in the expeditions, I learn either a different way of doing a thing that I knew how to do, or I learn a way of doing a thing that I didn't think was possible.
I don't want to make you feel bad, but it's pronounced Nomansky. All right. Anybody got anything else on Nomansky before we move on to Elite? Hearing none, we shall move on. Elite Dangerous. All right. So there's two pieces of news about Elite. All right. Piece of news number one, after saying, hey, we're going to do a better job of communicating building up to Christmas of 2021. They have said fuck all for all of 2022 until 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, Honest Arf said, hey guys, just giving you an update. We know we haven't said anything and you guys are all freaking out about it because, you should be. But we're going to get some news for you soon. We've got big stuff to tell you, but we have to internally get it right so that we say it right. We're going to be getting back to you real soon. 2 weeks ago, that was said. The week following that, no streams, they said nothing. The week following that week, no streams, they said nothing. So get out your Ouija board and see if you can conjure up the ghost of David Braben to tell you something. That's point number 1. Point number 2, Obsidian Ant has been hammering the living fuck out of them with videos of like, he did a video like a week ago where it was like, hey, here are all the updates in Elite Dangerous, and showed that like between the first year of it coming out, between the launch and the first year after, there was like 18 ships added to the game between the launch and the first 12 months of updates. And then in the next 12 months to like whatever, there was like another 4 or 5 ships added. And then in the next like 3 years, there was like 3 ships added. And then in the last like fucking damn near 3 full years, if not more than 3 full years, there have been 0 ships added to the game. This is a space game, mind you. And he talked about all of the basic Odyssey bullshit. Burr put out a video just recently of like saying, hey man, here's an article that was put out by this company where they actually even interviewed Libram, which is Frontier's like in like sales company for like their stock, and the official whatever the fuck they do in England. And this article gives the supposition of like, is Elite Dangerous actually, is Frontier the whole company, and by extension Elite Dangerous, the project that we care about, is this ripe for like a takeover? Is this going to be, you know, oh, you saw EA bought this and Microsoft bought that, and you know, oh my God, could that be coming to Elite? Now, me personally, real quick, I'm just going to give you my 2 cents. I don't buy it. I don't think it's happening. But I much more subscribe to the Obsidian Ant view of, no, this is just Elite. This is just Frontier going back to their situation normal. We're going to tease you that we're going to say something, and fucking 6 months later, we might or might not say something. This is just them going back to radio silence, situation normal. The stuff that happened in May 19th, 2021, Elite released Odyssey, which was dog shit. And for the next 6 months, they did lots of, you know, little patches, little patch, little patch, little patch, little patch. I don't think they made it right. I still don't think we got the Odyssey we were promised. But they did lots of little stuffs to like, hey, we're going to try to make it right. Eventually, though, they had to sort of they put tons and tons and tons of people onto the project to try to like, oh man, everybody hates us. We gotta fix this. And I have been saying for a little while, like, hey man, eventually that's gonna go away. They have to pull people and be like, you got to get back on the Formula 1 project. You got to get back on Warhammer. You got to get back on Project fucking Zoo. You got to get back on Jurassic Park. You got to get back, like, those people that they've diverted in an emergency effort to try to make Odyssey right, which, spoiler alert, they still haven't got there. Those people have to eventually go back to their home projects. And I think that's what we're seeing. If I had to guess between Burr's sort of, and again, to make it clear, I don't want to besmirch or in any way put word in Burr's mouth. He didn't say he thinks it's happening. He said, I'm quoting an article where they think it's happening, and I'm putting it out there as news because it is, and he's exactly right. But if I had to choose between the thing talked about in Burr's video where, hey man, they're getting bought out or hostile takeover or selling like they're happy to sell or whatever, all of the spectrum of what that can be, or I had to go with, I think Obsidian Ant has it more right, where it's like, no, this is just them going back to situation normal. We're going to put a fucking skeleton crew on Elite, and we're going to not say a goddamn word, and we're going to keep you in the dark. We're going to treat you like a mushroom, which is keep you in the dark and feed you shit and hope it works. I believe that it's more likely. I'm not saying that I think it's true. I'm saying it's like statistically more likely the Obsidian Ant's view was correct. So with that lead-in, where I've fucking ranted and explained to you all of whatever, I'm going to open this up to the panel. We'll start with Lady Rain. She clearly has something to say on it. What do you think?
Firstly, my personal opinion is that the Elite community is horrible and toxic, and I've seen that in dealing with the Reddit and the official forums, where, you know, you've got the people who, for example, attacked Katie because she went to Star Citizen, saying she was a shill and got bought out, and personally, you know, being paid or whatever by Chris Roberts. And you know, I put up a post on the Elite Dangerous Reddit, I'd say about a year ago, asking, you know, it's a space game, where's the new ships? I got downvoted into oblivion and told I was stupid, I was an idiot, didn't know what I was talking about. What's the new ship gonna do? What's the reason for it? Where does it exist in the current lineup? We don't need any new ships in our space game. And just like the Elite community, I'm gonna say this, and to the people that are watching that are fans of Elite, and the people that are on this panel that I really like and respect, I'm sorry, y'all's community is dog shit. It really is. It's just not a good community from all of my personal experiences, especially, you know, when the way people attack the devs, the way I've watched people attack Dr. K, the way you're not allowed to criticize it without somebody jumping into a chat saying how much of a, you know, Star Citizen shill you are, and you're part of a cult, which, as somebody who grew up in a cult as a kid, I find really disgusting to say that. And on top of that, I think Obsidian Ant is more right. This is just Frontier back to their same old of they have some serious leadership problems. They have some serious internal problems, and their community team can't do anything about it. And we're just back to the same old, where this is a development studio that has shown me time and time again that I can't trust them, at least their leadership, that I cannot trust their leadership to do right by me, which is why outside of Elite, I have not bought any other Frontier games, and I probably never will.
Can I suggest a slight modification to your statement? And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm going to suggest that this is a better way to phrase it.
Okay.
I think the Elite community is amazing and beautiful and wonderful. I've had so much absolutely amazing. I have had a 90% plus positive experience with the Elite community. I think the Elite forums community is absolute dog shit. I think if I could offer you one suggestion, it would be to tweak your comment when you say the Elite community is dog shit. The Elite community, to my experience, just great. The Elite community, the Elite forums dog shit. I 100% agree with that statement. 100%. The Elite forums are dog shit. The Elite fucking subreddit is dog shit.
But to be fair,
the
so
Elite community, no, I agree with you. I agree with you. The Spectrum community is dog shit. The Elite or the Star Citizen or CIG subreddit is dog shit. I think forum people in general are dog shit.
Yep.
But the Elite players are great.
Bingo.
And the Star Citizen players are great. But I that's the only suggestion I would make.
Yeah, okay. I mean, sure. My personal experience with the Elite community has not been good.
Okay.
So,
all right.
It's just not. Anyway.
Everybody else hop in. What do you
think? Yeah, to echo what you said, Kai, I mean, I can't speak for Rain what your personal experiences are, and sure, their vocal minority are going to be the loudest, and that's what you and everybody else are going to hear.
Yeah.
But all in all, the Elite community has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for great causes. They have helped people beyond video game world helping. They are welcoming to one another, and they are more than happy to teach people the game. So all in all, I've never been a part of a community as good as the Elite community, and I'm not ready yet to say the Star Citizen community is better, but I think it's right up there with it. But to the downside to that, they both have their downsides that you just ignore. You keep away from it, you ignore it, and you move forward. But on the Elite stuff itself, I don't necessarily believe that Frontier is going to get bought out, even though that is the current trend in the video game industry right now.
Mm.
Sure, their stock price is low, which would imply that it's a good time to look into them. But I just don't feel like that it would be a who's gonna want to take on the Cobra engine that's got its spaghetti code that they can't build anything new onto that works smoothly and become responsible to either fix it or start anew. That's a pretty big investment. I more lend to what I have said previously, that I believe something is going on internally, whether it is an exit strategy of how they're going to put this game in maintenance mode, or if it's they are deciding finally to double down and actually do what they need to do to make Elite Dangerous the game it should be. I don't know. I tend to believe the latter as opposed to the first as opposed to the last, but we don't know because they won't say anything. It would be real simple for them to say, no, we're not being bought. This is what's happening. Here's the information. We move on. But they refuse to do that.
Real quick, I want to call it a comment from Trey York 1 in the chat, in the live chat. I really miss the days of Elite Week when we were convinced that all the other projects Frontier was going to be from Frontier were going to become assets one day in Elite. They need to give their fan base real reason. I so very much agree with that. It's just a situation of like, I remember back 2 years ago feeling like they got Project Zoo. They're going to use this, the water effects in Project Zoo and the animals, they're getting set. And man, I used to believe so hard, and being lied to over and over sort of robbed me of that. But you know what? I would love so much if Elite pulled a Nomansky and like, yeah, you know, Sean Murray is a fucking asshole and he lied to me and he lied to me and he lied to me. And then like 3 years later, 4 years later, 5 years later, the people are like, he just keeps giving. He made it right. I would love to see Elite pull that exact same move. So much. So much. It would be so good. Street Soul Lover, don't Tencent own 50% already? That is incorrect information. Tencent owns 8.9. It's basically 9% of Elite Dangerous. David Braben alone owns basically 50. Well, he owns like 47%, but like people in his family or close, whatever, people that you would assume he controls the voting block of, own 51.2% of Elite. So he, you know, they still have sort of whatever. They still have control.
They have controlling stock.
Yeah, they have control.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, no, I agree with you. And let me tell you something, Trey. If Elite pulls a Nomansky and makes it right, I will so be back hardcore 100%. You know, just 100%. But I think Lady Rain sort of made a comment that is absolutely correct of like, we don't know. Like they could be silent because, or no, I think maybe that was Tweet that just made that comment. It's like, it literally could be they're getting taken over. It could be they're putting Elite, the whole game, into maintenance mode. It could be we're continuing with Elite and shit's about to take off, but we have to let go of the old consoles. We can only do the new consoles. It could be we're off consoles altogether. It could be anything, but since they were promising improved communication, you know, in November, December of 2021, they promised improved communication, and they haven't said fucking anything other than we'll get back to you soon 2 weeks ago for all of 2022. This is where we live with Elite. This is where we lived with Elite for, you know, remember since Fleet Carriers came out in, what was it, April of 2019, from there until 2021, nothing. It's just, we have nothing to say about that. We have nothing to say about that. We have nothing to say about that. And it's a situation of like, maybe there's good things coming, maybe there's not, but either which way, they are giving us the mushroom treatment. And the mushroom treatment is feed you shit and keep you in the dark. And
Well, and
I'm just not okay with that anymore.
I will say this as the resident dev. If they are getting taken over, you won't know about it because it'll be a situation where they're legally not allowed to tell you. That does happen during like buyouts and takeovers and stuff like that. You'll get NDAs and lawyers and stuff, and it's like you are not allowed to say anything until this is done.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Which is exactly why I say if it's not that, then they can come out and say something, and they should to stop the speculation.
I agree.
It does add to the coincidental nature of things, especially with the timing. I think Roy wants to say something on that one too.
Hop in, Roy.
So 2 points, quick. One, I think in any game, the community that is on the forums or active in social media or active in any way is often a minority compared to the silent majority that just plays the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I think I don't want to.
I retract my previous statement and apologize.
Well, no.
I
think your statement was entirely valid if you're talking about the forum community. I agree with you 100%. 100%. I just wanted to offer that very small, like, qualifier.
Sorry, go ahead.
My view on this is like the people I meet in game are very different than what I see on the forums.
Agree.
It's just that, right?
Yeah.
The game experience is very different than the social media experience in this or any game. But I did want to spend like 30 seconds on selling a business. I was just perusing the shareholder information. So David owns 32%. Tencent owns 8.6. Swede Bank owns 8%, and then it goes kind of down from there. But here's the thing. I think the Burr Pit, I think they're spot on in identifying, as this article did, that FDev is in the zone. They're in the zone where a predatory buyer or a non-predatory buyer that might have synergy with what they might want to do and excite FDev's management and owners, like they're in the zone. This could happen, but here's the thing. I've had the privilege of spending time with people who've sold their businesses, and this is like a deeply personal thing. So there's this wild card where it's not. This is a situation where logic may not apply. You know, it's all about people get wrapped up in things like legacy and what they wanted to achieve when they started it 10 years ago, and all this other sort of very important but more emotional stuff. And it's not just about what do the numbers say and when should I sell and get the maximum share value and all that sort of thing. And it really comes down, and some of that's moderated by, like, is there a single owner? And there isn't in this case, of someone who can like throw the switch on this. But certainly David and others who have a large interest but not a majority interest can weigh in on that. And I just want to throw out that it's definitely they're in the zone, but it's not a thing where it's as simple as, oh, we make more money tomorrow than we did yesterday because we sell this. People make irrational decisions about these sorts of things all the time. And it's not just based on, I say irrational, not meaning to be unkind, but it's just irrational in the sense of pure dollars. But there's all kinds of motives way and above this, especially around something like a passion project, which I think we agree Elite is and has
100%.
been.
Yeah. And
this is you're talking about a product that this guy made as a college student in 1982 and 83 and was released in 1984. This is this guy's #1 sort of baby life work. But, you know, he got married right about the time that Elite was released. He has stepped back from the development of Elite and is now sort of the larger fucking manager of the whole thing. Who's to say that he's not ready to cash in his chips and go live the good life?
Totally.
And if he is, and if he is, I say God bless. David Braben is a fucking brilliant person who is one of a handful of people that's on the Mount Rushmore of he changed the face of gaming forever.
He's proven himself 100 times
so
over.
Like if he's ready, if he wants to go cash in and you know, go skiing with the wife and go sailing and go do whatever, like, God bless you, go do it. Like, there's nothing I don't
Well,
begrudge the guy at
a
all.
few bits and pieces here. David just turned 58. And Frontier Developments as a company was founded in 1994. It's 28 years old. And some people have made mention that, well, maybe they're cash poor. That's not true. They're in the green. Last year alone, their total revenue was 90.7 million British pounds, which is about $110 million US. Their operating income was 38.1 million, and their net income was 19.9 million. So they're actually making money. They are making money. And they employ 745 developers across multiple projects.
No, employees. Not all those are developers. Employees.
Well, yeah, number of employees, sorry,
Yes,
is 745 people in total. So we're not talking about a cash poor company running out of money. That's not true. And we're not talking about a small company anymore either. Plus the whole Frontier Foundry thing where they're publishing independent games under Frontier Foundry, which is a Hammermont game, Warhammer Chaos Gate Demon Hunters, VAR, Lemnis Gate, Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, and of course, the Jurassic World game, and then they've got Formula 1 and Age of Sigmar coming out. So like we're talking about, and somebody mentioned in chat something that's also true, where the rest of Frontier's projects, Roller Coaster, Planet Coaster, Jurassic World, Planet Zoo, those community teams are very active with their communities. Elite is the only community team and the only like dev ops team that is silent. Like if you go look for Planet Coaster team, they're very active, including streams and stuff. Planet Zoo team, Jurassic World team, the sub teams working on these other IPs are dozens of times more active and more engaged than the Elite team. So they need to tell us something, because all we can do right now is speculate very poorly about, wait a minute, you got
100%.
745 employees across 8 IPs. What's going on with Elite that you're not telling us and communicating us where you are with all your other IPs that you're working on?
100%. And here's the thing. Like, Elite Dangerous is being, like, Frontier, the whole company is being sold to another company. Elite Dangerous is now being shelved. Elite Dangerous, the next one, Elite Deadly, is now coming out. No console, but we're going forward on everything else. We have a new patch. We're like, any of those things that I just said in the last 30 seconds are sort of equally possible. It's so they're just telling us nothing. And this is why I don't think they're getting sold out, because exactly the key thing that Lady Rain just said. All of their other projects are still talking about stuff. So if Project Coaster, Project Zoo, Project Dinosaur, Project whatever the fuck, if all of that shit is still, they're doing streams, they're doing whatever, all of that could potentially change the stock price or make it go up, make it go down, which would be a no-no. Either you don't want to do it because it hurts you, or you don't want to do it because you could get in trouble with the fucking British law of like, oh, you just jury rigged your stock price or whatever. Like if it was because the company was getting sold, all of that would have to be silent, because you can get in trouble for, while you're being either hostile takeover negotiations or like you're doing it on purpose negotiations. If you're trying to sell your company and you do anything to quote unquote artificially stimulate or artificially lower the stock price, you can get in trouble. So if that was the big thing, everything would have to be silent. Every other project they had is running as normal. Elite is in dead silence. So again, Elite is dead. They're just gonna, okay, we're not doing this anymore. We're shelving it. Completely possible. The next update, the next Elite, Elite Dangerous is dead, but the new Elite is coming out in a year. We're working on it now. Completely possible. We're gonna just shelve this project for only for the old consoles, but we're gonna, we're picking back up the pace with the new ones and with the PC. Possible. All of this equally possible, or nothing is happening, but this is just Elite Dangerous, business as normal. We're gonna fucking tell you absolutely nothing, and we'll get back to you in 5 years when we have new news. Equally possible. And it's infuriating. At this point, you need your Elite Dangerous Ouija board to have a fucking clue what's going on with this game. And I think, call me crazy, that might not be the best development plan. That might not be the best way to keep a community going and thriving. Anybody else got
Roy
Elite
was
stuff?
putting a bunch of dots in.
I'm okay. Let me get Roy up to speed. Roy, because you literally just joined in right before. I don't even look. I'm playing a video game. I don't even look at that channel. Just hop in and talk, brother. It's all good.
I was just following chat here, and I think Jay brought up a good point that, like, what if just the IP of Elite Dangerous is being sold?
Could
Like,
be.
if that's the anchor on FDev.
I
I
think
hate to say it that way, but
I personally think, and again, this is unsupported speculation on my part. Do not read any more into this than an asshole sitting here telling you what's on his head. I think Elite is personally David's baby, even though he might not be like handling it anymore. I think the actual, like, I'm going to release it, I'm going to hand it over to someone else, I think that would just hurt him viscerally. So I don't think he's going to do it. But again, anything could be possible at the, literally anything.
I mean, if we're speculating, I wonder if this is total speculation, but whoever he put Elite in the hands of to launch Odyssey, right? Like, maybe that was the test of, like, maybe I can hand this over to someone, and we saw how that went. And I don't know, like, he's obviously in a position now. Well, maybe not obviously, but I think he's in a position now in that company where he can't be spending all his days focusing on Elite. He's got to run a company, and this has gone beyond his passion project. And as much as we'd like to think he's, like, babying this thing every month, I don't know. I don't know if that's true anymore. And maybe it's come to a time where someone else can carry the mantle, and someone makes him an offer who's passionate about the project, and he feels good. Like, now there's a legacy that I can finally let go of this, and this person's going to retire. He's going to carry it, and I can relax. Right?
Yeah,
there's that
anything,
release, right?
Anything is possible. You're right. Anything is possible. But because Frontier has a habit, they've already demonstrated 3 or 4 times in a row that they're more than willing to just do fucking nothing for multiple years while they tell us nothing. I feel like the bet, like Occam's razor, all things being equal, the highest probability is this is just Elite. This is Obsidian Ant is exactly right, and this is Elite going back to situation normal, fuck off. But that's not to discount any of the other possibilities being entirely valid.
I feel like you're right there, that the top choice here is probably this is just another dead zone from FDev. And Obsidian's right on this, but it feels like all these other things have risen to a level where, if the main one was a 60% probability, suddenly these are all rising up to at least 40. Like, wow, there's all this circumstantial stuff. It's worth talking about. It's worth thinking about. The other one is probably the priority, but I guess we'll see. In a few weeks how this plays out.
2 years ago,
these other ones have popped up as possibilities.
It's crazy how far we've come in 2 years that those are possibilities at all, really.
Yeah.
All right, before we leave the train wreck that is Elite Dangerous and move on to happier business, does anybody have anything they want to add? Now, again, I'm going to jump back into Elite in the next couple weeks and play it. Like, I honestly believe that Elite Dangerous Odyssey is a dog shit project. I honestly believe that Elite Dangerous Original and Horizons are both fucking worth their weight in gold. So the only problem that I have with Elite Dangerous Original and Original and Horizons is that I sucked that marrow dry with fucking 5,000 plus hours of actual time playing. If it weren't for that, honestly, I would say this is the best game on the market. Go buy whatever. So if you have never played Elite Dangerous, or if you have, you know, if you're a Star Citizen fan and you're like, hey, whatever, go buy Elite Dangerous the next time it goes on sale for $5. Don't buy Odyssey. Please save yourself the fucking hassle. Don't buy Odyssey. But the original and Horizons, go buy it and play it. It is so fun. It is great. I feel like that game, that project is maybe the top number one choice for the best place to spend your money in the history of time of all projects that have been released. I believe that Star Citizen is the best choice of where to spend your $40 on something that hasn't been released yet, but is going to be great. But like, that game shines, and that game deserves all love and respect. Unfortunately, the team who made that game, they all got shifted under. They went to other companies. They got shifted to other. It's like when you have a team that wins the fucking Super Bowl, and now everybody fucking jumps to other stuff and gets their payday, and then the team the following year is all of the rejects that weren't fucking good. That's what we've got now. I'm sorry, but it's true. Anybody have anything on Elite before we move?
One quick thing.
Go for it, brother.
You know why I chose my time back here to jump back into Elite. It wasn't just because I was missing it. It was I've been keeping track here and there on things developing, and it's not about Odyssey. It's I had some unfinished business from expeditions I wanted to do, and I saw some of the CG stuff, and I'm currently farming mats to build a killer Type 10 and go make a killer platform and run fighters and pirates and like and then fund an expedition. Like it's all about not Odyssey stuff. It's all about Horizon stuff, honestly.
Yep.
It's the stuff that brought me first into the game, and I have some things I want to still do. And yeah, I'll spend some time on planets and do some fun things there, and they've made the graphics better enough that it's okay. It's good. I enjoy it. It's a great experience. But I'm not like hardcore farming suits and guns and all that crap. It's more like I have some other stuff I had to do that it was on the table before even Odyssey came up, and now I want to go do it. And the community's still here in Black Sky Legion and a few of the other discords. Loose screws and a few others that I monitor, and we're still here. And I think it's on the bubble. I think it's on the bubble of, are people starting to come back or not? It could go either way depending on what happens in the next couple of weeks or 3 weeks whenever we hear what's behind all the silence.
I think so. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Kurushu. I think this is referring to David Braben. Quote, get him on Rogan and get him baked. I would fucking give my left nut to see David Braben smoking weed on Joe Rogan and just talking honestly about shit. That would be so fucking great. With regard to, I want to give a shout out to Wintermute, who made a comment that basically Fdev are right now advertising. You reminded me of something. I forgot to mention that. Fdev a couple weeks ago, put out an advert on their thing saying, hey, we're hiring. They're looking for a new a story lore mat, like someone to take over the story, which I think is very, very telling. We were told, by Honest Arf many times that, hey, Lawrence is heading up the story team. They have a group of people that are doing story, and that story goes into 2022. We were told this in October of 2019 about like, hey man, the next several years of story, whatever. Well, guess what? We're in 2022, and they've got an advert out saying, yeah, man, we need to, figure out, we need someone to do this job now. So yeah, that's a thing going forward. So we'll look forward to that. All right, let's hop into Star Citizen, because holy shit, We spend 80% of the shows talking about Star Citizen just because Elite gives us no news and Nomansky gives us no news. Today, we had so much news from the other two projects, but I don't want to shortchange Star Citizen. Let's get into the Star Citizen stuff. I would like very much for Chad to start us off talking about, just you take over the conversation now. I'm going to add in some stuff that we should definitely hit, but I would like you to take off with it.
Okay. Yay. That was an interesting conversation about Elite. There was a lot of speculation. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the next few weeks.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, back to Star Citizen. So Star Citizen's been going gangbusters since they came back from their holiday break. They put out several inside Star Citizen videos about the next upcoming patches and so on. And they're also doing a free fly right now. So until February 25th, you'll be able to play the game for free. There is a web page you go to, put the link in the chat, that basically says, go here, sign up for an account, put in this code, you'll get 5 free ships until the 25th of February.
How cool is that? How fucking cool is that?
Oh, it gets even better. So it's the Aurora MR, which everyone knows and loves. The 100i, which is a more spacious version of the Aurora. The Nomad, which some people love, some people hate.
Oh, come on.
It's pronounced Asp.
It's pronounced Asp Nomad. Wait. It's called Asp Nomad, and it's magnificent.
Yes.
It's even better with a hover bike in the back.
Oh, believe me, I know. And then the Cutlass Black, the ever versatile, the ever adaptive ship that everyone loves. Mm-hmm. And then the Prospector. Now, the nice thing about the Prospector is that it's unlocked. So you can swap out the mining head for a Lancet and use the boost and everything to mine Quantanium the whole time. If you really want to do it, make a ton of money. So all of these ships are completely unlocked. You can modify them, swap their components, use them as if you had bought the game. So that's a big thing for people who may not want to spend the $2 million on the Prospector. Now they can earn that money with the free Prospector.
Isn't that a change from how previous free fly stuffs have been done?
All the ships have been unlocked when they've been in free fly.
Mm-hmm.
Is my past experience. Now, if you rent a Prospector, it's locked.
Okay, that's the one I got hung up on. Okay.
Right, so you can rent ships in game for a fraction of their purchase price in game. But they can't. Their components cannot be changed.
Mm-hmm.
But for the free fly, they can, which gives you like an untethered experience on the game. So it doesn't limit you in any way, shape, or form just because it's free for a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really easy to sign. Now, all current players, former or new, can use this code to get all 5 ships. So if you don't have any of these ships, you cannot get them now for free until the 25th.
Mm.
So if you don't have a Prospector, you've been a long-time player, now you can get a Prospector, make a ton of money, and then you get to keep that money after the free fly, and then maybe you can then buy your own Prospector in game from the money you earn.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one big news. And then also there are discounted starter packs. So they're about 10 to 30% off.
Wait. Let me let you finish that, and then I'll hop in. Go ahead.
Okay. So like the Aurora MR starter pack is 10% off. The 100i is 30% off. The Nomad starter is 25% off. These are actually pretty good discounts, historically speaking, because most CIG doesn't give these kind of discounts for stuff, especially like the Nomad starter pack. It's $71 instead of $95 US. Okay, and then in the EU they do charge VAT and other applicable taxes.
Let me hop in real quick here with a hint. If you're new, if you're an Elite player or a No Man's Sky or just whatever, and you're like, oh, I want to buy one of these packs, let me give you this is the super behind the scenes cheat code, all right? This is what you do. Buy the 135 one. The 135 one is a stupid, like, okay, the Aurora one, if you're just like, hey, I want the minimum, I want to spend as little money as possible and really fully get into Star Citizen, buy the Aurora one, sure. You get it for $40 instead of $45. But here's what you really want to do. Buy the 135 pack, because the 135 pack is the best pound for pound pound per dollar that you have ever seen in Star Citizen, period. And what you do is you buy that pack, and then you spend another $10 to upgrade from that pack to the Avenger Titan, which is like, don't get me wrong, the 135, it's a great little ship. But it's basically the minnow. It's like the cheapest tiny ship of like the luxury ships. So because I don't know why, but they made whatever decision to do it this way. You can get that one at a stupid low price and then spend $10 to upgrade to the Avenger Titan. The Avenger, I tell people, hey man, if you're not sure about this game, don't spend money on it other than the minimum. Pay the minimum to get in and see the universe. But people that I really like, because I don't want to feel bad if you don't like it, if you're like, ugh, this is not my thing, I don't want you to spend any more than possible. So if you're like, hey man, I don't trust you, you're just some asshole on YouTube, okay, fine. Buy the $40 Aurora pack, you will have fun. But if you're one of those people that's like, man, I've been with you for a while, Kai will not fuck me over. He'll give me the real deal. I trust him. If you know me like that, buy the 135, spend $10 to upgrade to the Avenger Titan. The Avenger Titan is the ship. If I was Chris Roberts, the Avenger Titan is the ship that I would start everybody out in, because it's a better fighter than the Mustang, which is the starter fighter, and it's a better hauler whatever than the Aurora, which is the starter non-combat whatever. It's just the all-around best fucking ship you can start with in the game, to like, hey, this is cheap enough, but like this has all the capabilities. The Avenger Titan is the game, is the ship. If I were to buy this for a friend, and I've bought it for like 5 friends already, and said, hey man, try this game. But if I were to buy this for a friend, Avenger Titan is the ship to start them with. And you guys that play Star Citizen, please tell me if I'm wrong. The Avenger Titan is, god damn, is that the best fucking ship to start with, just as a cheap all-rounder. It does everything well. So the 135, buy that, and then spend $10 to upgrade to the Avenger Titan. Though I'm not shitting on the 135. It's a great little ship for what it is, but it's nowhere near as good a ship all-rounder as the Titan. You want that Titan that will... And then, after that, spend $0 on this game for as long as it takes. You go enjoy the game, play the game, spend $0 until you get to the point where you're like, I love this project, I want to back this project, I want to invest in this project. In which case, you spend, I'm not your dad, you spend all the money or as little money as you want. You don't have to ever spend any more money. Once you start with an Avenger Titan, you can spend $0 for the rest of your life and love Star Citizen. But you can also spend thousands of dollars if you want. I'm not in charge of your fucking wallet. You do what makes you happy. I'm just saying, Avenger Titan is life. Sorry, go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, it's a great ship. So there's also a free fly referral bonus. So there's a code here. There's a code. Every YouTuber has a code. Your friends have codes. Everyone
is this the beaver outfit?
It's the Armitex. Yeah, lodestone armor,
Mm-hmm.
and then the sniper rifle. So you use, now if you've already created an account and you're doing the free fly, you can delete the account and then recreate it with the code, because you can't put the code in after the fact, which is kind of dumb, but that's just the way it works. But if not, it's not a big deal. The armor, I think you can buy that in game anyway, or something like it. It's not like it's super special. It's just
you can buy a set and loot a set.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can, so it gets attributed to your account. So if there's a wipe, you can keep it, but you can go to Area 18 and buy a set with a blue visor instead of the whatever the visor the helmet comes with. That has a little different color. So it's just cosmetic. There's no game advantage. Also, all the armor, all the medium armor, light armor, heavy armor, it's all the same. There's no special stats. There's no win button. There's no, I got the better armor than you. No, they're all the same. This is a skills based game. If you can't point and shoot straight, you're going to die.
And to be
And,
clear, for people that are Elite Dangerous players that don't know about this project, it's not like Odyssey where you can buy this armor for the same price as a whole fucking spaceship, and you have to then engineer it, and it's a whole pain in the balls. In Star Citizen, you want to buy a rifle, you want the extensions, you want the extra, you want the this, that, and the other. A, the rifle is dog shit cheap, and B, no engineering, no whatever needed. You want a scope, you want an extended mag, you want whatever. This is all super, super easy to get. So just the point that I'm making here onto what Chad is saying is the armor is a cool referral bonus if you're like, oh, that's neat. I like that. I want to, if you're a collector, if you're fucking Mr. Pokemon's got to catch them all, okay, great. Get it and have fun with that and God bless you. No, I'm not shitting on you. But if you're like, yeah, what do I care? You can just go buy similar armor for just cheap cash. The armor is, if you can afford a spaceship, you can afford thousands of sets of armor. It's super easy. It's not that big a deal.
Right. You could do 2 delivery missions and get a full set of armor and gear just on those 2 missions that take you about 20 and 30 minutes.
No engineering necessary. Not for ships, not for armor. You just fucking buy it for pocket change. It's easy.
Yeah, and to swap a scope in the field, you press J, you can select a new scope, and pop, and you're done. Anyways, so they have the referral bonus, which gives the armor and the weapon to each party, and that can extra 5,000 credits, which isn't a whole lot, and it's just just one little perk. And then we're on to the in-game event. So for the first time that I know, they are doing in-game events during a free flight. Like
hell yeah.
Usually it's a free flight during like Invictus or IAE. Or to get ship show, and they have conventions, and you get to look at all the pretty ships. And you can
actually,
for free.
Actually, hold on. I think I need to correct you. If I'm not mistaken, they did a free fly that did over. I could be wrong, but I think they did a free fly that overlapped with one of the Xeno threats.
Possibly,
briefly.
Yeah. But this has like so you have Jump Town 2.0, which is a PvP centric event.
Mm-hmm.
It is not for the faint of heart. This is not for beginners. You're gonna roll in and get blown up in seconds. So this is an event for orgs battling each other for control of a point. Then you can loot drugs and sell them to the government or to the bad guys and make a ton of money. But it requires the cooperation of a few dozen players. And then at the same time, there's an event called Ninetales Lockdown, where around a specific station, and it tells you which one, an NPC gang has locked down quantum travel, and you have to go around and defeat the fleet, and then the game will guide you on every step of the way. And you can make about between 200,000 and 300,000 credits, even if you're a brand new player participating in this event. There's 2 paths on it. You can do recovery, so there are derelict spacecraft full of medical supplies that you can then load onto your own ship and take to the space station that's been locked down and sell them for a high profit. Or you can fly around with the fleet and blow up ships for 2 hours and make lots of money that way. It's your choice, either one. And this is really a PvE event. Now players can play for the bad guys, but honestly, it's pretty rare from what I've seen when I played Ninetales in the past. So it's not Jump Town. So Jump Town is a meat grinder, and unless you're an experienced player, I would recommend not doing it the first thing when you first jump into the game. But it's for those who want to do it, it's there.
Although, I'm going to say this. If you're a person that's new to the Star Citizen project, but the reason why you're coming is because you have a friend who's like, oh man, my friend Bill, my brother-in-law, my whatever, my friend from work, he told me about this. He's like, it's so cool. You got to see it. If you go with Bill and you're flying in his ship and it's whatever, if you have someone who's an experienced player to be your guide, then it's totally cool to go see it and whatever. Just make sure you go with someone who knows what's up, or if you don't, then just do the free fly, enjoy it. The Jump Town might not be for you.
So it's definitely a different experience. And yes, you can fly other people's ships. You can be a gunner in anybody's ship. It's completely open. There's no restrictions of any kind. If you can touch it or walk up to it, you can use it. So those are the events, and there's a schedule in the link in the chat on when these are occurring. It's all UTC time, so you can calculate that based on where you live.
Mm-hmm.
Then there, of course, in other news is the next update. So they had the Star Citizen live
Mm-hmm.
describing in-ship refueling. Hello, fuel rats.
Hell yeah.
So the Feeler Rats, from what I understand, are interested in moving the Star System or opening our branches once this becomes a reality, which they have promised and committed to sometime in the next 4 to 6 weeks.
That's cool.
So the fuel rats have done more than that. The fuel rats, they're not just interested. They've specifically said they are doing Star Citizen as soon as refueling is a thing in the game. So that is they've already committed to that. Yeah, they're coming.
So,
they're coming.
So it uses a specific ship called the Starfarer that's designed for refueling for either quantum or hydrogen fuel. And you can have a mixture of both. You can set your own prices. You can, and it's a mini game, so you don't just push a button and you pop and get fuel. You have to watch the flow rate. You have to make sure that you're not going to give too much fuel to a fighter versus like a larger multiplayer ship. When you meet in space, you have to dock with the Starfarer with like a big fuel line. You don't shoot out little pods or something. It's all very physical, and it's involved. But it'll be there in 3.17, along with new DNA head textures, which is like the update to the character models and to different types of visual features. There'll be a hospital finally in Lorville.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So,
so couple things real quick to hit on that you just mentioned. Number one, with regard to the hospital, it's not just that there's a hospital in Lorville, which I think is a negative because I think being able to spawn in Erebus is awesome, but you know, whatever. That's just me being a cheater. But like they've also said, hey man, we're putting in unique hospitals for each one. And I know that that's a subtle distinction, but for let's say you're an elite dangerous player who's tired of every concourse looking the exact same on every fucking station you go to in the galaxy. There's like 4 variants. If you're like, whatever, like the fact of the matter is they're saying, hey, each hospital is going to be a unique layout, a unique setup. Yeah, it's not the biggest point in the world. It's a subtle point, but I think it's important to say, like, it makes the universe feel more real to say, like, this hospital is slightly different than that hospital because, you know, whatever. I've spent some time in some hospitals and they're not all laid out the same.
Yeah, so space station clinics will get updates for variations.
Mm-hmm.
Then we come to the controversial coffee shop vendor. Now, I know a lot of people bag on it. It's become a meme when they did the road changes for the game.
Yeah.
But the coffee shop vendor is meant to test AI interactability. So the AI, you're not selling a coffee cup where you click buy and you're done. It'll be like the bartender where they'll get stuff out and they'll mix the coffee and they'll pour stuff in and they'll hand it to you. Eventually, will evolve into interactive weapons dealers and other types of NPCs that will sell you stuff and will guide you through the experience of getting the right thing that you want.
Mm-hmm.
This is just one more piece of technology that they're putting out there for the players to test. So it's not like, coffee shop vendors will save the universe. It's just one small piece of a giant puzzle going forward with their AI technology.
So just to clarify a little bit, sorry to keep hopping in, but just to clarify a little bit, the whole point of this is basically just Bartender 2.0. Okay, and so I get it where you're like, oh, you took this and this and this off the roadmap, but you added in coffee vendor. Yeah, it's Bartender 2.0. That's all it is. Now, what is Bartender 1.0? Bartender 1.0 was creating an NPC that interacts with you based on a series of things. You know, I want one of this, or one of this, and then this happens and that happens, and it's like, go over here, pick up a thing sort of in theory, but like you don't see it so much in reality. I mean, you see it, but it's very limited. Coffee vendor, I can see where if you look at it from a shitty perspective, it's like, ooh, coffee vendor, that's fucking nothing. No, it's more about like adding in the list of variables that NPC can do, where they pull a thing, interact with a thing, bring you a thing, take a thing from you, put it over here. I pick up A from destination 1, I take it over to destination 2 and add it with B, and I create a thing that is now C, and I take it to you and interact with you. And so basically all it is, this is a thing you can use with doctors. This is a thing you can use with the guy that sells you a gun. This is a thing you can use with the guy that sells you a ship or a missile or a alien artifact or whatever. It's all, when you say coffee vendor, it's very easy to shit on it as, oh, that's dumb. It's coffee. No, it's not coffee, idiot. It's NPCs that will interact with you and sell you a thing. That thing could eventually be a ship, a gun, a bomb, a fucking, whatever, a hacking
Which
tool.
in turn brings the universe more to life, which is
Correct.
what we all want.
So I just wanted, because I know that it's a meme for everybody to shit on coffee vendor and be like, what the fuck do I care about coffee? It's not about coffee. It's about variable interactions and taking things and making things. And that is important in the long run.
Yes, it is. And then next, we have gameplay. Mining gadgets. Mining gets more love because mining is the favorite profession for CIG that it's gotten the most love of so far. So you build get a thing, and then you place it on a rock, and you can like lower its resistance or modify it in some way to make it easier to crack, easier to harvest, and so on. You have to do it by hand, so you have to like EVA out of your prospector if you're in space. Go up to it, place it on the asteroid, push some buttons on it, align a waveform, and then hit go and come back in and do it. And then on a planet, you have to get out of your ship and walk up to the rock on the planet and do the same thing. So it's just another tool in the arsenal of stuff that you can do with mining.
So for those people who want to play The Expanse and you want to, hey, I'm a belter loader, I'm going to go over here. Remember the very first episode when the dude lost his hand at the cant? And they had to whatever, like, because you go out to the rock and you set the charges and you do the this and you do the that, and it's like it's more about saying, hey, we could do a thing where it's like, hey, I shoot a laser at a rock, the rock drops pieces, I send out limpet collectors, I get the things. Or in a more in-depth universe, you could have, I have to prep the charges, I have to do this, I have to do that. Like, it's just making the entire process much more interesting and meaningful. And I will say this, even Salty Mike, who, some people will say shits on the game, I like his content, but I'm able to separate what I feel is legitimate criticism from what I feel is hyperbole. But like, he has even said, hey, I've noticed I've been out and some of the rocks were much harder to collect than they used to be. Okay, so that's the point of, why do we need this? Well, because it's making the process way more in depth. It's not just making it easier to get the same rocks. Then this gives them the freedom to make the rocks much, much harder, which in turn, what does that do? Well, that gives much more value to a thing like the mole than to the prospect, because if you have a thing that's super hard to deal with, and now you give people, oh, we can put a full team on it, that makes it much more viable than just why would anyone want the mole when you can just have 4 prospectors? Like, that's why. Because if certain rocks now are way, way harder, you actually have value for money using a big multi-crew ship. And this, again, this is all subtle distinctions, but that's what makes the more you can make this process real and viable and worthy of, like, I'm spending time and effort on this, the more complete of a game you get, in my opinion.
Raises the skill ceiling too, so there's a
100%.
thing for people to do as they get better and better at it.
100%.
Yep. Yeah, so the mining gadgets will be along with consumables and passive boosters that you can get for your mining heads.
Mm-hmm.
And with the mole, you can have a combination of different ones on each of the 3 mining heads to achieve a unique solution for cracking even the biggest or most difficult rocks.
And more multiple people working at it together.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So you have a full crew of 4, a pilot and three mining laser guys,
Mm-hmm.
and they can then together they can do what is not possible with just you or you and a buddy.
So just to sort of explain more on that, to clarify that for people who don't know. Let's say I'm the main pilot of this ship. Roy is the main, and I'm working the mining stuff. Roy is on mining head number 2, and he gets the attachment that allows for just massive amount of boost, like when we first start on a rock, to like get it to the end. Chad is in seat number 2, and he controls the one that allows it for like, hey, this makes it much more, it makes the green zone much bigger so that it's less likely to overheat. And Lady Rain is in seat number 3, and she controls the thing that says, hey, this will lower it if it goes into the red zone and it's going to explode on you and blow up your ship. And we're all working together, each of us with a meaningful, it's not, and I'm not trying to shit on Elite, I swear to God, but like, let's be honest, multi-crew and Elite is kind of dog shit. It's like, hey, I give you an extra pip, and I do nothing, you know, or I work I work the SLF, and that's cool. But like, whereas with this one, it's like we can play me, Chad, Roy, and Rain, and we're all actually doing something. I'm controlling my thing and like, oh, I got to put on the massive whatever. I got to aim the ship and I got to work the main lasers. Chad is doing something where he's like, I'm the guy that when we first start off gives it a massive boost to get us in the zone. Roy is the guy who's like, oh, I'm working this laser and I'm also making sure that I expand the green zone to give us the most optimal yield. And Rain is like, oh, I'm working this laser, and I'm also the gal who makes sure that the ship doesn't blow up and the fucking thing doesn't kill us all by like, I'm the emergency brake on, oh shit, we went too far. And all of us are actively, realistically doing something. You know?
Like fun.
It sounds like fun, right? Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Chad.
Yes. So, and then we come to ship-to-ship refueling. Yes, fuel rats. So this will work for the Starfare to any ship in the game. Period. It won't be that big of a deal in Stanton, but going forward for Pyro, this will be a gigantic deal because Pyro is 5 times the size of Stanton, and there's like no place to get fuel. So the fuel rats, the Starfares, will be essential to exploration into Pyro.
Hell yeah.
And so they get all the bugs worked out now. So when they release Pyro in 6, 8, 9 months, whatever it is, then it'll be rock solid and it'll just work. Next, selling items to shops. So all you pack rats out there who have like hundreds or thousands of looted items can now sell those items back to the game for money.
Which let's be honest, when you say selling item to shops, they had looting in the game, but it was kind of fucking pointless in that 10% of what you looted you would want to use, and 90% of what you looted was just fucking taking up your inventory. Now that you can sell shit, so this is the whole point of where we're at with Star Citizen, where, oh, this thing comes in and it's okay on its own, but when you add it to the other things, the sum is greater than the parts. You know what I mean? Where it's like, this in and of itself is decent, but when you add that to the other stuff, it's great.
Yeah, you could sell fruit and other organic items to the admin office now, but you can't sell guns or armor or anything else you loot that's part of, like what you would wear or use. So that will add some place to put all the looted stuff you don't want, just to get rid of that inventory and get a little bit of money for it. And then there's 2 tentative ships. There's this RSI Scorpius, which is an X-Wing and a Star Fury from Babylon 5 had a baby. And which looks amazing.
And the last Starfighter, do not dare fucking not include that.
And the star, and yes, and the last Starfighter.
The Gunstar,
that's awesome.
And then there's the Misk Hall A, which is the first variable geometry ship in the game for hauling cargo, and will be followed up over the next year for the B, C, D, and E, which will get ever exponentially larger.
Hell yeah.
And so these are marked as tentative, but I had no reason to think that they won't be out with 317.
Well, so yeah, they are listed as tentative, everything else in 317 is sort of listed as
It's
committed,
confirmed.
is
Yeah.
committed, and yeah, it's looking great. So were you done with your quick rundown, or because I
Okay, well,
go
there's
for
a
it?
little thing for 318. So
Hit it.
people are waiting for salvaging for literal years,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's finally coming for hull stripping.
Hull stripping,
For,
yes.
for salvaging,
Mm-hmm.
they have there's a video about it for Star Citizen, Inside Star Citizen. The Drake Vulture is also set to release at the same time, as well as the multi-tool attachment for salvage for
And the backpack.
players on for yeah, and other than and also along with salvage is the cargo system refactor,
Mm-hmm. So
which is changes huge how you haul stuff around.
Mm-hmm. So yes, the hull stripping specifically, I like that they changed it from salvaging to hull stripping. Let's be honest, Salty Mike was right, and I know everybody hates him, but I'm just gonna say it. Like, I like his content because I separate out what I agree with what I don't. And he was right on this. Don't call it salvaging because it's basically salvaging tier 0, which is hull stripping. You can literally just do that. When it will be salvaging when you can take the components out and this, that, and the other. But it's still exciting. It's an exciting start. And then I fully expect that it's going to just continue to grow and expand. Hull stripping, which is basically for elite dangerous players or for people that or whatever of that mind that have played elite that want to reference, it's basically that where it's like just shoot a laser at the rock and you get the stuff. Well, this is shoot a laser at the ship and you strip off points of stuff, which you can then throw in your backpack or throw in your ship's hold and then later use that to repair your thing under a mechanism that they have. Later it will be much more like what Elite has as its like core mining, where it's like, well, now what you're doing is you're going in and pulling out very specific. You're doing much more detailed, like oriented, like, okay, I got to get this piece and do that, and that will be much more like what asteroid mining is, where it's much more of a process. But this is the necessary start. This is the start of what I feel is good things to come, and like, great, all right, this is good. And it's not just the in-ship version, which you're going to be using the Vulture for, but it is also, you can use a multi-tool to strip stuff by hand, and then you throw it into your sort of backpack, and then you'll later use those, through some mechanism to repair things. And that's a very, very, cool start. Yeah, let's stop here and have people comment on that with whatever they want.
It's like the first level of salvaging is like you're salvaging AFMU points.
Yes, exactly that.
Let's start. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so for those people who are like, oh, 317 is going to get gutted, this, that, and the other, they've changed everything. They're not telling us anything. No,
it's not true.
Everything's committed. Everything is committed, except for the ships, which I think they will get to that point, but they're not there yet. But okay, whatever. In addition to that, they put out CIG rather, put out a sort of roadmap companion this week that, let's be honest, and I've said it already, I think CIG created a faux pas. They screwed up with how they said what they said when they changed that whole roadmap thing. I think that was a PR blunder, misstep, whatever. But like, whatever. Everybody's human. They make mistakes, whatever. I think this new roadmap companion, which does a really good job of explaining it and whatever, I think says everything that the other thing said, but in a much more positive way, where they're like, hey, instead of saying like, hey, you guys are the problem, you don't understand, you're making noise and that's an issue. This time they were like, hey, we just want to put this out to kind of explain it to people who might be newer to the project, who might not know. This is how this worked. This is how that worked. And they did a full they had a like where they break down each part of the roadmap and they show you like, this is what that means. And when we say, hey, we're trying for this, that doesn't mean necessarily it's going to happen. Things can move around, but this shows you, hey, you want to see how many people are working on a thing? Go here. Hey, you want to see, tentative progress that's being made? Go here. They have a whole Gantt chart. They have all of these. They break down piece by piece, like this is how this works. And it was cool. In reference to Spike Spiegel, I totally dig the reference to what do you call it, to Cowboy Bebop. Quote, well, ... one of these years that beta will drop, end quote. Let me just tell you, if I were a betting man, so beta is when they hit 4.0. And I think if I had to bet, I would say it's going to go 3.17, 3.18, 4.0. Maybe 3.19, 4.0, but I think that when you say one of these years that beta will drop, I think you're kind of being shitty. And my answer to you is, yeah, one of these years being this year that beta will drop. That's my bet.
I'd also add that who cares what they call it? Fact is that the live service game right now is pretty dang good.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm having fun now.
So, I mean, I hopped in on a couple of clarifications of things that Chad said, but I want other people hop in. What do you think?
Well, as somebody who's been a fan of mining since it began, all I gotta say is, oye, Beltolora. Right? You listening to me? You listening to me, my paretne, mi siesta? You keep these in your loader, the fuck out the belt, yeah? Beltolora, we born in the belt. You keep these in your loader, these pomang and tumang in your loader, you keep them in the fuck out the belt, yeah? You hear me?
Wow. So
all I gotta say is, I'm really happy for all the mining changes, and all y'all newbies can stay the fuck out my belt. That's all I gotta say.
Wow. Wow.
Well, I'm drunk enough that I understood every single word of that.
Well,
someone's on their game.
There you go.
I personally,
you hear me? You understand me in your loader? About the loader, we born in the belt. We made by the belt. You come and you take it. You think you own it all. Oh yeah, about the loader, you listen.
There you go. There you go.
100%.
So, yeah, I mean, the mining shit looks cool. The other, I mean, like,
I'm personally looking forward to being able to sell all the loot at
same. Oh my god.
The best thing about Star Citizen, in my opinion, one of the very best things, is that you can make money doing whatever you like to do in this game. You don't have to specify, oh, I gotta go mining because I need some money. It's not that kind of thing. You can make money doing whatever you want, and this is just going to be another avenue of doing it.
Cool.
So my buddy Stick and I, for example, we went to what is it? The little broken space station. Does anybody remember? Corvalex. Covalex. Yeah. We go to Covalex, and we just circle it and loot the place, right? And we can't really do anything other than take it back home. Now we can do that stuff and we can go sell stuff. But the coolest thing was when we did an 890 jump mission, and we end up with not enough space in the ship, so we just tractor the corpses onto the ship.
Hell yeah.
Right? And I'm looking forward to that kind of stuff too. Like, being able to sell loot is going to be fantastic.
And the best part,
yeah.
And the best part of doing that shit at Covalex is you could also just pick up criminals that are coming in to clear their shit and murder them. And if you kill someone who's a bad guy, you're a good guy? Question mark.
Justice is served.
Enemy of my enemy is my friend.
That's when you stare right at him, you make the right side of your face looks like you had a stroke, and you go, I am the law. No?
I am the law.
Judge Dredd? No? Nobody?
Yep.
Only me? Okay.
No, I got it. We all got it.
Alone.
Mr. I am the law.
Yeah. So,
yes.
All right. Let's I want to hop on let's hop on a thing for Star Citizen that I think, whatever. It's the new fucking thing to get mad about. Oh, they're taking away our ability to change out the CCUs, and oh my god, my jimmies are rustled. Let's look at this all the way around real quick. We're going to hit it quick and move on because it's not that deep, but it should be addressed. Now, Star Citizen basically released an announcement saying, hey, we're changing the way we do CCUs. And just to boil it down to its most, quick essence, to not spend a year on this, is used to be you could CCU shit and like, oh, I locked in my price on this. I locked in my price on a Banu Merchantman at $300. And then, oh, now it's worth $600. I can get it back, but I only paid the $300. And they're saying like, yeah, no more with that. We're going to change that. Now, in fairness to those people that want to criticize CIG, and they have a point, CIG sort of made money off of various practices, whether it's selling LTI tokens or the whole, without like kind of leaving the whole idea of how insurance is going to work nebulous and murky. They've done things where they, enjoy the feeding frenzy of people buying shit, which later on becomes the gray market or whatever. They've done plenty of that. But the fact of the matter is number one, they've stated that they kind of want to wean themselves off of all of that. I'll believe it when I see it, but okay. And number two, the gray market itself, I don't think is good for the gamers. I think you're talking about basically the same asshole that scalps you tickets to a Billy Joel concert that he bought for $40 and sells them to you for $200. This whole process is not great. And in the past, they did a change to how the gray market would operate, and they gave people a ton of advance notice. I think over a year, like almost 2 years of advance notice. And the CCU people, or not the CCU people, the gray market people went in and just mercilessly maximized their advantage in that period and used it to their whatever. So I can see some people who are not gray market people, some people who are legitimate backers, having a bit of a hurt feeling, saying, hey, you changed how this works, and in this corner case, it affected me negatively. I wanted to do something, and now I can't do the thing that I wanted to do. But the fact of the matter is 99% of the people that I think that got hurt by this choice were the gray market themselves. And I'm not shedding a fucking tear for a minute over any hardship that befalls them. When you boil it all down, basically everything that you bought, you own. All of the regular general backers didn't lose anything. A small portion of people that played the sort of speculative investing, feeding frenzy, throw money into stuff. And I'm like, there's been a thing, let's be honest, there's been a thing in the Star Citizen community for quite some time where they say the real game of Star Citizen is buying and melting and upgrading and this and that, and figuring out ways that you can get your shit, almost for free or at a discount, like how you can whatever. And it's like, I get it. But I think CIG is now, mostly for the purposes of screwing over the gray market and like trying to limit that, but also I think for some people who maybe are deep into that melting, switching, upgrading CCU, like all that stuff, they're like starting to say like, hey man, just if you want to ship, buy the ship. And if you later on change your mind and want to change the ship, that's fine, but you're going to have to pay what the ship costs now and not what the ship costed then, because we don't want this to be we don't want this to be the real game. We don't want this whole speculation, investing, moving, melting, being slick Rick to be the game. We want you to just if you want the ship, buy the ship. So yeah, that's a thing that changed. Does anybody have opinions on this different than mine or the same as mine?
No, it's,
Same as yours.
Yeah, it's a gray market. They would buy a CCU for $10, melt it, and then it'd be there in their buyback thing for 4 years, and suddenly that they can then get a ship, and then they'll save $100, and they can put it on the gray market and make that much more profit. And they would do this infinitum, and it got ridiculous. And that's what they're trying to stop. Is the, as I said, speculation, where they try to game the market for their own personal advantage, and then charge people more money and then make more profit outside of the regular system. The gray market is a violation in terms of service.
Yeah, I think also this is the right move to make. And again, like it just how many times I have to say it, but I've been with this project since the Kickstarter, and if people are surprised still 9 years later by things changing drastically, I don't have anything else left to say to you that we've not said for 9 years. Things are going to change. They're going to change rapidly. They're going to change drastically. CIG is going to make decisions. And if you don't like it, you don't have to spend any money and you don't have to play the game. You can go somewhere else. And I think this is the right decision for them to make, because I think the gray market got way out of hand and people would scalp and people would, abuse the system. And at the end of the day, at last count, there are 98 ships and vehicles in the game that you can purchase for in-game money. You can spend $40, which is $20, $30 less than Horizon Forbidden West. You can spend $40, jump into the game, make your money, buy your armor, your guns, and 98 ships and vehicles and Gravlev bikes and everything else, and never spend another dime on the game. I don't know how many times we have to go over it 9 years into this project. Spending lots of money on this game is a thing you choose to do because you want to see this project succeed and you want to support it. There's no, in my opinion, I don't agree with people saying there's FOMO, because yeah, you can spend $300 on a 600i, or you can put 40 hours of gameplay in and go buy one in game and never spend a real goddamn dollar. This was the right decision to make, and it's a long time coming.
I see this.
Well,
Go ahead.
you say that about the FOMO thing. I've not been nearly as time invested in following all the slight nuances and everything in Star Citizen, and how to quote unquote game the system and do whatnot with it. When I was looking at a bunch of posts on how to spin this, and then you melt it down into this, and then you can wait, or you buy this ship because it's got this LTI token, and like that whole thing seemed like it was feeding an aspect of FOMO. And to be perfectly honest, I'm glad to see that go away, because whereas I don't agree with the funding model that they've chosen, I can understand why they've done it to an extent. But this helps rein in some of the more predatory things that people can cite against it.
100%.
Which is ultimately a good thing that they're taking that out.
100%. I think, again, and that's why I said it the way I said it. Let's be honest. CIG has profited off of, maybe by design or maybe by accident. I'm not going to attribute motive to them, but I will say they've profited off of FOMO. They've profited off of this idea of playing the CCU melting game and moving shit around and this, that, and the other. And I think for whatever reason they're doing it, maybe it's just entirely to try to, crush the gray market, or maybe there are, for some reason, saying, hey, the game is advanced to the state that we want to start weaning ourselves off of that evil tit. We want to not encourage this FOMO CCU melting game. just buy the ship you want if you want it. Buy it with cash if you want it to support the game. Buy it in game without paying a penny if you want to do that. You do you. But like the whole CCU melting game, anything that sees that lowered, lessened, removed, whatever, I'm for. So I get it where people want to, bag on this, that, and the other, but like, as far as I'm concerned, that's all just good news.
And Axe in the chat makes a real good point too, that you can make good money pretty quickly with these events that are going on.
Absolutely.
I, for example, went from 730,000 credits all the way up to 5.1 million just in Xenothread alone.
Hell yeah.
And I'll add, this is another one of those situations where people who have been detractors of this project used to say that what they used to say, CIG is making too much money off of selling these ships. You'll never be able to buy the ships in game for real money. People used to say that, right? They were wrong. They were wrong. Because again, back then that was the thing. Oh, CIG's super, super, super greedy. How many ships can you buy for money right now? Not very many in comparison to how many are in the game. And of course, the standard is that a ship comes out, it'll be in the next patch to purchase with in-game money. When we're talking about the situation now, do I believe they are trying to slowly but steadily move away, and so that a ship comes out, you can buy it and have it early to support the project, or not, and you'll get it in the next patch? Yes, I believe that's what's happening, because we had people who swore up one side and down the other, you were never going to be able to buy ships with money you earned by playing the game, doing missions and content and stuff like that. And again, we have nearly 100 ships and vehicles in the game. You want to buy a Constellation? Go play the game and buy a Constellation. You don't have to spend real money on it.
So for those,
I just did.
yeah, Tweak just did. Yeah.
So for those people that say that the entire CCU market game is basically predatory, it's getting people who have FOMO and have whatever gambling addiction issues or whatever, like where they're going to. Now, I gotta get this right now, and then I'm gonna see you later. I'm gonna make a profit. For those people that say that kind of thing is predatory, okay, you can say that. But if you say that and then they stop doing it, you can't say, well, that's a bad. You gotta pick one. Either they were evil when they did it, or they were evil when they stopped it. But like, come on. So
I mean, it's a situation, Kai. They're damned if they do, damned if they don't.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
People will complain to complain for the sake of complaining about whatever, because that's what they do. So
now, can we talk about the fact that the big faux pas at Christmas time, and I called CIG out on it. I said, man, you guys were dumb for doing this. The big faux pas at Christmas time was they handed out a picture of a fucking hover bike, and we're like, Merry Christmas, and everybody was like, what? Oh, I thought I was getting a free hover bike. Whatever. Hey, they just put out a thing where it's like, hey, you get a whatever coupon, 20% off, whatever it is. They just, I kind of feel like, and I gotta say it, like if I call them out for doing wrong, which I did, I think that was just dumb. But like, I gotta give them credit when I think maybe they heard the community and they were like, hey, we're gonna give you, what was it? It was 20% or 25% off.
It was $5 off the bike if you had purchased a Nomad in the cash store at some point in the past.
And that's great.
So it was $25. It came with an LTI token, which is the cheapest LTI token ever. And they gave you an email saying, here's a unique code for $5 off if you want to get this, or you bought this in the past at some point. And so you can get it for $20.
And that's super, super cool. So I just wanted to, like, I criticize when I feel like you did wrong. I give credit and praise when I feel like you did right. So I just wanted to say that was cool. Good thing. Also, I feel like so they've been doing all these different contests. You can get this, you can get that. Hey, you can get this armor for a referral bonus. You can get this ship for this. You can get this hover bike for that. Like there've been all kinds of sales and things going on. They're doing a free fly for another 4 days. They've been doing it already for several days while you've got these events going on, so you can see all of these different things. Some of these sales going on right now, like I said, for the 135 specifically, like just ridiculously good value. Upgrade it for $10 to the Avenger. There's so many things going on right now that are positives and pluses and whatever. And then with regard to, they just did an Inside Star Citizen where they were like creating this trolley, and they were showing, oh, this is how it works. We're creating it live right here in front of you, showing you how it works. And there was like a silly thing of like, oh, and by the way, here would be the ultimate combat trolley. And it was like a trolley with like big fucking lasers and machine guns and missiles and all kinds of crazy shit. And they were like, hey, if you want this, go on the forums and tell us you want this. I personally think that the most deadly trolley is just a regular plain trolley where somebody walks up and tries to use it, but that's just me. If you get the joke, you get the joke. There's a lot of good shit there and good shit going on. I know that lately some people have said, well, Kai is just negative elite and every positive Star Citizen. You've heard me say today, if you have never played Elite, don't buy Odyssey. It's dog shit. But buy regular Elite and Horizons and have fun with it. Oh my God. But in the same token, if you haven't tried Star Citizen, use our referral code. It's on the screen right now. Or don't. Use somebody else's referral. Use Katie of Will and Kate. Use Morphologist. Use, Space Tomato, Subliminal. Go, if you're interested in seeing more about the game, I'm going to put in a shameless plug right now. Go to Soul Citizens. Look at their YouTube videos of previous episodes. You look at their Twitch, get their podcast. There is good shit here and good stuff in the community. Go and have fun with it. Does anybody have anything they want to add to Star Citizen as a thing before we sort of close out the night?
Well, the next year will be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of key features are being put in. A lot of key features have been talked about. They talked about nav mesh, so NPCs can be on the surfaces of planets. And then in 3.18 and 3.19, they actually said those words.
Mm-hmm.
And the last Inside Star Citizen, a lot of really good stuff is coming our way, and the future is bright. I gotta wear shades.
Have you noticed, like, every fucking episode of everything now is like Road to Pyro. This about Pyro. Pyro. Look. If you don't think Pyro is coming in the next 12 months, okay, you're entitled to your opinion. I think you're not paying attention. They're telling you what's coming. But Tweaked, you kind of haven't really hopped in too much. I know you were just having so much fun. Take 5 minutes and tell us about some of the cool shit you're doing in Star Citizen and what you're liking or not liking, or what you want changed or what you appreciate or whatever.
Yeah, there's really not much that I would change about Star Citizen as it stands right now. It's as I just said, I made a boatload of credits off from Xenothreat, which was pure fun the whole time. It was not grinding. I was dogfighting in a fighter jet, basically. It was a great time. I bought myself a Constellation Andromeda, basically because I love its interior, and it's also good in combat. And I'm excited for the changes coming. But if you're one of those people that are questioning, oh, there's not enough to do in Star Citizen, nothing works, there's no game loops. With Jumptown this weekend, I have a heist planned, essentially. It's going to be like an episode of Firefly, what we're going to try to do, where you can steal somebody's loaded cargo ship, take it out into orbit somewhere into deep space, unload it onto your own cargo ships, have a whole network of people out there. I mean, the way you can work this stuff together and the things that you can do is unmatched in any other kind of game. Working with friends and stuff like this, it just doesn't work like this in the other games. And we've been waiting a long time to be able to have adventures like this in space.
Hell yeah. Very, very cool. And also I'll say with regard to some of the stuff that it's like some of the stuff that's coming, I get that there are some of the old timers that have been like, there was a thread that was like out on Spectrum, whatever. They were like, boycott Star Citizen because the roadmap changes and let them know and this, that, and the other. Meanwhile, Star Citizen posted the last 2 weeks have been like record weeks of money coming in because there's so many new people to the project that are seeing it and are loving what they're seeing. And they're like, cool, man. The future is now. I'm having fun. You go be fucking miserable if that's what you want to do. I'm having fun. And it's just where the project is at. So buy it, don't buy it, support it, don't support it, boycott it, don't boycott it. Like, if you want to boycott, I think it's great if you want to boycott Star Citizen because you personally feel wronged and you this, that, and the other. I support your right to express yourself and to do as you feel is right. I'm at this point going to boycott Star Citizen from the standpoint of, I don't think I'm going to give them any more cash. Not because I don't agree with the project, not because whatever. I feel like I've done my fair part. I've thrown in a few shekels into this project. And I feel like, hey man, I did my bit and that's cool. I'm not going to stop playing. I'm not going to stop loving it. I'm not going to stop watching as it goes. And I'm ready for the ride. I've put in, at this point, hundreds of dollars, and I'm happy with my investment. I'm not going to spend any more cash to buy any real ships or any. They could come out with a new thing tomorrow where it's like, hey man, here's the Millennium Falcon. I'm good. I've spent enough. Now, but I'm not saying that from the standpoint of someone who's like, I hate it. They're wrong. They robbed me. I am 100% happy with every dollar that I invested. And now I'm just going to like play my thing. Panda the Gray, you literally just told people to buy the more expensive package. Sorry. Yo, bro. Hey, fuckface. If you're literally gonna, I'm saying if you haven't bought anything, get that. I'm not saying if you haven't spent money already. Like, if you spent money already, if you bought a Mustang, or you bought a Star, what is it? The one that's like the Millennium Falcon, the Crusader Star Runner. If you bought a Star Runner and you say, I'm happy, I'm not spending any more money, I'm happy, go play the game. Never spend any more money. Go put your money into Space Engineers or this one or that one. But also, I'm not telling you, if you're like, hey man, I want to buy a new ship tomorrow, go buy. I'm not your dad. Go do whatever the fuck you want. I'm not in charge of anyone's wallet but mine. I'm saying I have spent enough. I love the project. I'm riding the ride. I'm having so much fun. You do whatever you want.
Additionally, the other thing you said was, and if you don't feel like spending that amount of money,
don't
buy the $40 pack,
yep.
The cheapest cost of entry, and buy nothing else.
Yep.
Like, it's your wallet. You know what your budget can handle. You do you, boo.
I would say to people, don't spend any more than you would on, if you would have, than a big title like Elden Ring, or, spending $70 on Horizon Forbidden. Don't spend any more than you would on a new title coming out.
Yo, I just spent $300 on 2 cases of this new Dragon Milk Reserve that's supposed to be some kind of 18% ABV.
Because you're dumb.
No,
it's worked.
Because
I'm happy. It's good.
Because I'm happy with my purchases. I don't have to justify my spending to anyone. You do you. But here's the thing, like I said, like, if you get to the point where you resent it, for sure, stop spending money. Don't spend anymore. But if you're at the point where you're having fun and you want to go more, you do whatever makes you happy. But the main thing is the project is continuing to come along. I'm excited by Star Citizen and what's coming. I feel like I'm starting to see them maybe wean themselves off of some of the tits that I don't like, some of the things that seem a little more predatory. I'm starting to see them maybe start to come off of that. Hey, that's nothing but good news as far as I'm concerned. These other projects, you like them, get in, buy it. I will tell you for everything. Buy the $40 package for Star Citizen. Buy the $7 on sale for Elite. Buy the $20 Empyrion. Buy the Space Engineers. There's nothing wrong with getting the starter pack of any of these projects and getting your toes in the water and saying like, ooh, this is my flavor. I'm going to go balls deep on this. I'm going to buy all the expansions. I love this. And also, there's nothing wrong with going like what Tweak did with Nomansky. I bought it. I played it. I like it, but I want X. I want Y. I want Z. And until they do that, I'm not interested in going back. That's not wrong either. I think, honestly, Tweak, you probably got your money's worth out of Nomansky. You played it for, 40 hours. You had some fun with it. And then you said, this isn't for me until I get to the point that they have, space Nazis that I can shoot in the face and giggle. And like, okay, fine. But like, don't spend more than you're willing to on any project. Don't care what it is. And don't be a hater of a project before you've tried it yourself. Like, just be reasonable. And now, does anybody have anything else they want to add to anything? Because I want to let Roy close out the night. He hasn't been here for months. I want to let him close it all out and kind of give his, like, you could do that, Maury Povich or whoever. What was that guy? You can do your closing thoughts where you take a minute or two and just like
Jack
hit
Candy.
anything. Yeah. Does anybody have anything else before we hand it to Roy to close out the night?
I will just say that after 9 years, I am still enjoying to steal the phrase from No Man's Sky, our journey continues.
Hell yeah. And to be clear, for anybody who doesn't know, she's talking about her 9 years with Star Citizen, which
yes,
I've only been with Star Citizen for like 2 years, but fucking A, I'm loving it so much. So when I say, just for anybody who got confused when I said I was boycotting, I'm not saying fuck Star Citizen. I'm saying I'm so happy, but I've spent my fair share. I'm good. Now I'm going to just enjoy the ride. Anybody else got anything to add before we go?
Hand it off to Roy. I want to hear from Roy.
Roy, it's time for closing thoughts with Papa Roy.
So I'm in total agreement that we need to water the garden of space games, right? This is a genre that is not huge compared to other genres in video games.
Mm-hmm.
And anything we can do to support the whole thing is good. That'll bring more investment money into the whole thing, which is good for everyone. So I've taken this huge break. I'm jazzed to play everything. I'm gonna buy Empyrion tonight. I'm in Elite. Good Lord, I'm even looking forward to the stupid engineering grind to build this Type 10 so I can build a giant gun and fighter platform to go take out some pirates. And I'm going to upgrade my Star Citizen starter pack from an Aurora to an Avenger Titan. So life is good. I mean, it's I don't know, if you're feeling burned out on any of these things, take a break. That's my advice. You come back stronger and having fun, and it's all good stuff. I look at some of the things that were maybe gripes 4, 5, 6 months ago, and yeah, whatever. I'm enjoying these games. I'm really enjoying these games, and I think a break gives you perspective. So it's all good stuff. I'm happy with it all. Life is good, and I'm happy to be. I'm not going to say I'm quote unquote, I'm making air quotes here, quote unquote back, but I'm happy to be here for the moment and engaging with the crew and the team and the audience, and we'll see what the future holds here. But I'm just so happy with the state of affairs. I really, this whole thing about is Elite gonna do something weird and get sold? I don't know. I was watching in Obsidian's video. The background video was Microsoft Flight Simulator, and this jet flying over the forest. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, if if Microsoft was to buy Elite, and if they were to like put that kind of technology into Earth-like planet, like, oh my God, that could go all kinds of places. But it's all speculation. We don't know. We'll see what happens in a couple of weeks. I think you're right. The more likely cause is it's just they're in a lull, and we'll hear what's going on in a couple of weeks. It's fun to speculate.
So I will
yeah.
say this: Microsoft buys them, nobody buys them. They're on their like whatever, however it is. God damn, I'm rooting for them to pull this out because I love original Elite so very much, so much.
Longest running, IP owner, like IP. What do you call it?
Current IP, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the longest running IP in the space industry, I guess I'd say, right? Yeah. And it'd just be a shame to not take it to the next level. So I'm rooting for them as well, and I'm in it right now, back in it, playing it again, and I really hope they pull it through.
Hell yeah!
Let's see what the next few weeks holds.
All right, with that, good night, everybody. We love you. On the count of 3, the entire crew say good night to the beautiful people. 1, 2, 3, go.
Good night,
Good night,
people.
people.
Bye.
Nanu, nanu.